It's time to remember that. With Kyle Sandel.
Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau Agent, located downtown Midland. Wow, what a big 1-0 victory for the Tigers yesterday to take the series with the White Sox. There really is truly nothing like a 1-0 win. Those games always feel like the 2024 version of the Tigers, but you don't feel as confident in the games this time around. Like, you feel like the bullpen is going to at some point screw up. The bats didn't really ever show up, but it didn't matter because, hey, shocker, when you pitch guys that you know are actually good, you tend to win games. Troy Melton, who I've been advocating to be a starter for the rest of the season for the Tigers. Look, I know it makes sense for him to come out of the bullpen. I get that. But I just think the ceiling of Troy Melton is much higher than a lot of the guys currently in those 5 starting spots right now. But either way, he has a tremendous outing, going 5 innings, just giving up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 6 Ks. Only had 56 pitches. A lot of people wanted him to keep going, but I think the whole point of bringing Sawyer Gipson-Long up was for him to get multiple innings. So I'm cool with Melton going the 5. Especially when Sawyer Gipson-Long comes in, goes 2 innings, strikes out 2, once again, no walks, and just the 1 hit. And look, if you can get to the 7th inning without having to pitch any of those random middle reliever guys, you feel good about Finnegan and Vest. And those two shut it down. With the amount of bad bullpen pitchers on this Tigers team, it was refreshing to get a day not having to see any of those guys, and the pitching staff came to play, resulting in a win. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, Farm Bureau Agent, located downtown Midland.
Discover championship golf with amazing views at Apple Mountain in Freeland. Whether you're chasing birdies or just out for a relaxing round, Apple Mountain offers a stunning 18-hole experience for every skill level. Perfect greens, scenic fairways, and a course that plays as beautifully as it looks. Book your tee time now at applemountain.com. Apple Mountain. Golf elevated. Just minutes from Saginaw, but miles from the ordinary.
Now, wait a second, Sharon. So the Midland Area Community Foundation runs the Midland Area Santa House?
You bet we do.
And Midland Area River Days?
Absolutely.
Plus scholarships for students and grants for local nonprofits? That's like hitting the cycle and impacting our community.
Anyone can step up to the plate and help build community capital for as little as $5.
$5? That's the cost of a snack at the ballpark. How do I get in the game?
Just visit midlandfoundation.org and make a gift to our community investment fund. Every dollar makes a difference.
Join the team. Give today at midlandfoundation.org.
When it comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland. Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello, and welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show. Happy Thursday, everyone out there in the Great Lakes Bay region, everyone watching on YouTube and Facebook as well. Hey, we're 5 subscribers away from 300 on YouTube, so if you haven't done that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help us achieve our goal. We said 300 by the end of the week. How about the end of the day? Yeah, we need your help. All right, so we've got a lot to get to today. The Tigers had a real funky win yesterday where the bullpen actually came through in a way that was, I don't know about surprising, but very effective. We'll get to that in the 10 o'clock hour. I want to kick things off with this Detroit Lions team, though, because yesterday the Miami Dolphins were in town for a joint practice. And Kyle, I'm not wasting any time bringing you in today. Kyle Sandel, our producer. The Lions dominated the Dolphins in a way that from every beat reporter, from the Miami guys to the Lions guys, for lack of a better words, it was an ass beating. Like, they beat this team down to the point where Mike McDaniels afterwards, doing his little presser, like right outside in Lions media session, and he looks defeated. This guy looks like he's about to start crying, questioning everything that he's done as the Miami head coach, because the Lions showed up, I guess Miami showed up to Allen Park, and St. Brown and the defense beat this Miami team to a pulp.
I don't think I've ever seen a wider reaction on Twitter from all of the sports or the Lions reporters. I mean, just some of the things. Colton Pouncey, The Athletic, says it was the most dominant joint practice he's ever seen on both sides of the ball. Our guy Jeremy Reisman was talking about this was the craziest performance he's ever seen from an offense at training camp. Like you said, even the Dolphins reporters were like, man, that guy St. Brown is like something else, you know? So it's when you got their own reporters talking about it, it definitely is just – that goes to show how crazy it really was.
And then even towards the end of practice, we got some sparks, and there's going to be another joint practice before the game this week. We got Jamison Williams throwing punches with the one and only Ife Melifonwu, a former third-round pick for this team. So sparks were flying in Allen Park yesterday.
Grant Stewart was talking crap with Mike McDaniel, saying that they don't really run a good practice, basically.
Clearly.
Which is, yeah, I mean.
One team was ready to go, one team wasn't.
And the fact that it was both sides of the ball, right? You got word on the offense and defense. So it definitely is just pretty awesome.
And the story throughout the first 12 days of training camp, not 12 days, but 12 practices, was, hey, this Lions defense is way ahead of the offense. And you heard St. Brown talk about it afterwards in his little media session, too, of like, yeah, this defense kind of knows our tendencies. They go against us every day. They've been doing it for years. So it's nice to get, someone else in this building. And I want to be transparent about one thing. The Dolphins have one of the worst secondaries in the NFL going into the year now that they've lost Jalen Ramsey. But that doesn't change the fact that Amon-Ra showed up and made them all look like JV players. The Lions put together a melt of 11 different Amon-Ra catches. Kyle, I watched it 4 times already.
Yeah, I'm about to play it for our YouTube audience, too, if you haven't seen it already.
Go for it.
It is just unreal.
It feels like a bunch of guys who are helpless against him. And when you get the up-close videos of St. Brown, and I'm yet to get to training camp. If you've been there, you've seen it in person. But people forget, despite him being a slot guy, he's one of the strongest wide receivers in the NFL, one of the strongest players in the NFL when you're just talking pound for pound. It doesn't look like anybody can stay in front of him. He's got all these contested catches. I want to compare him to a couple of guys in a little bit. But he is truly just dominating this group of Miami secondary players to where they're probably considering, not like hanging it up or anything. It's the beginning of the season.
Dude. Jack Jones has got to be number 23 for Miami. I mean, he is just getting torched in every single one of these clips. Like, he might be considering hanging it up after today.
Which is hilarious because the season hasn't even started yet, and they still have to go through this, training camp, this preseason game on Saturday. But it shows you just how dominant that St. Brown and really everyone else was. There was a question of, hey, what's going on with this Lions offense throughout the first 12 days of camp because the defense had dominated so much. Fret's not, because they screwed up this Miami team so bad. And I don't think too high of this Miami team, to be clear, but when one team shows up to a joint practice and just gets BTA'd the entire time, it starts to really show you who the haves and the have-nots are going into the season in the NFL. And sometimes, I've heard so much about this schedule and the offensive coordinator leaving and the defensive coordinator leaving, and sometimes you just need a little reminder. And I think this was a good example of, yeah, man, the Lions are still one of the best teams in the NFL. Yeah. And even a team with, like Miami, who's going into the year with a lot of pressure on them in a different way than the Lions have. The Lions have pressure because they've got to get over the hump and win the Super Bowl. The Dolphins have pressure because it seems like there's a lot of cracks in the glass here, and they're a feather away or a straw away from it cracking and crumbling. But the Lions, I feel like, are pushing the envelope a little further on this Miami team to where, hey, maybe this Mike McDaniel's first coach fire thing is actually something to look into, because they got beaten down so bad that I don't blame Grant Stewart for basically saying, I'm questioning the way that this team practices compared to how the Lions practice.
What a crazy thing to say, by the way. Like, I don't know if these guys are just preparing well enough during training camp. Pretty hilarious to come from a player. But, yeah, I mean,
we've even got that from, like, Tim Patrick this season, who's, like, all but said, like, this training camp is the hardest training camp and really the hardest thing I've been through as an NFL player, including games. Like, this has been like Dan Campbell and the Lions crew, we practice differently here. And this was like, it's one thing to talk and say you practice harder than everyone. When a team shows up to town and this is the results from every beat reporter that's down there in camp covering it saying this was one of the most one-sided practices of all time, then yeah, you're walking the walk as well when you say you practice harder than everybody.
Right, and this is really the first true test that the Lions have had in training camp. Obviously, when we talked to Reisman earlier this week, he talked about how it's hard to take a lot of the offensive stuff seriously early on in training camp because it's not real game-like scenarios. And now that they finally have got the starters in a real joint practice type of thing, it's very encouraging to see this, and it started a conversation that I saw on social media, like, are the Lions really good or are the Dolphins really bad? Or is it a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both. But I think it's more so, I mean, they didn't have Hill, they didn't have Waddle in this joint practice, but it didn't matter.
Didn't matter for the defensive side of things, yeah.
They went a perfect 9 for 9 against Miami's offense when it came to red zone situations. 9 for 9. This Miami team couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's what's talking about because we're talking how great the offense was. The defense was just as good.
This was fantastic. Like, I'm not down there or anything at camp, but to read everything that was going on, my God, like, that was a nice reinforcement that, hey, no matter what you think about this Lions team, no matter what you think about the losses of Ragnow, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, they've still got one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. And even a team like Miami, who was a couple games short of the playoffs last year and obviously still has expectations to go to the playoffs, for them to show up and that to happen to them, pretty good reinforcement going into the season that this is a Lions team that is not to be messed with. So St. Brown's kind of become the darling of yesterday's training camp story. And it's funny because there hasn't been a lot of pieces written about St. Brown, a lot of buzz about St. Brown throughout the first 2 weeks.
The other two wide receivers of the Lions, honestly.
Yeah, Tesla has stole headlines. J-Mo seems to be, like, in the early stages of camp, progressing in a way where he's a little bit closer to a wide receiver 1 type of player than he is a wide receiver 2 or 3 type of player. But I think the reason that St. Brown didn't have a lot of pieces being written about him or didn't have a lot of hype, throughout the first couple weeks of training camp was because we've all seen this. We know how consistent St. Brown is. We know that he stays after practice and catches a gajillion balls on the jugs machine. We know how dominant he is in practice, so it's nothing new. The J-Mo stuff was new. The Tesla stuff was new. Now that we've actually gotten a little snippet of the Lions going up against somebody else in a different team, it's no surprise at all that St. Brown absolutely dominated the Dolphins' secondary because for the past 2 seasons, this has been one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. So this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. So where exactly, precisely, does St. Brown rank amongst other wide receivers in the NFL? Is he the second? Is he the third? Is he the fourth, fifth best wide receiver? We're going to get to the bottom of it when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We'll get to the Tigers in the 10 o'clock hour. I want to have a conversation about Gleyber Torres because he's in a little bit of a slump. And with him being a free agent this offseason, the Tigers have to start considering something. And if Gleyber doesn't turn things around, well, this conversation is going to become a little harder to have, but the decision's going to be a little bit easier. 989-837-6125. Your reaction to Amon-Ra St. Brown destroying this Dolphins team. Where do you think he ranks amongst wide receivers in the NFL? That is next here on the Ben Bosscher Show. And bright smiles, they start at Scott's Family Dental, where comfort care and clean teeth come at a standard. Locally owned by Brandon Scott, a native of the Great Lakes Bay region, the business is family-focused. They treat patients of all ages like kids of their own. Plus, for all you Spartans out there, yeah, he's one of those. From routine checkups to whitenings, crowns, and more, they've got all the tools and the gentle touch to keep your smile shining. Friendly staff, modern tech, zero judgment, even if it's been a while since your last visit. So go ahead, show off those pearly whites because Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best receivers in the NFL. Scott Family Dental has your back and your teeth. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on a Thursday on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Hi, this is Jim Mahoney with Link Technologies. As a business owner, you might be struggling with today's technological advancements in the IT arena and how they could benefit your growing business. Let Link Technologies' talented staff work with you to develop a technology plan custom to your specific needs. We bring 27 years of experience helping businesses and nonprofit organizations just like yours achieve their technology goals. Contact us today and see how the right balance between cloud and on-premise resources can best work for you.
Tired of floors that snore? Walls that whisper, meh? Premier Tile in Midland is here to spice things up one tile at a time. They've got backsplash that'll make your pasta jealous.
What?
Shower walls that'll actually sing in the morning. And floors so fabulous, you'll consider eating dinner off them. Stylish, affordable, slightly obsessed with grout. Visit Premier Tile, located between Stark and Sturgeon, right off US 10, or at PremierTileStone.com.
You have better things to do than to job hunt or scramble to find your next great hire. So let Spherion do it. We say local is our superpower because we live and work where you live and work. We know the local job market. We're here in person. And we're locally owned, so you won't find a partner who's more engaged and literally invested in your success. If you're ready for something better, start with Spherion. Visit us online at Spherion.com to find your local Spherion office. Let's get to work.
When the summer heat is on, keep your cool with Answer Heating and Cooling. Our expert team specializes in fast, reliable air conditioning repairs, installations, and maintenance. Stay comfortable all season long with top-notch cooling solutions and simply outstanding service. Plus, with financing options and special rebates, cooling your home has never been more affordable. Answer Heating and Cooling, where comfort is our priority. Try our new schedule online option or call us today.
Midland Eye Care wants you to know, according to a recent study conducted by the AOA, the Optical Laboratories Association, and the Vision Council, nearly half of all glasses ordered online had either prescription errors or failed to meet minimum safety standards. Midland Eye Care offers a full-service optical department meeting all your eye care needs. So call your local Midland Eye Care and avoid incorrect prescriptions costing you time and money. Midland Eye Care, your vision source on Eastman Road in Midland, on Cedar and Gladwin, and on East Washington and Freeland.
Celebrate the 75th anniversary of a Peanuts Christmas with the Great Lakes Loons on Friday, August 29th. Relive the heartwarming classic in a festive atmosphere filled with nostalgia and holiday cheer. The team will also wear Peanuts-inspired jerseys that fans can bid on during a live online auction. For tickets, head to loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show, live on 100.9 The Mitt. I told you guys we were going to get to the bottom of where Amon-Ra St. Brown ranks amongst NFL wide receivers. So, Kyle, I'm going to bring you right back in. Let's do this. We did this with Jared Goff. You're just going to name a wide receiver, and I'm going to say who I'd rather have, Amon-Ra St. Brown or fill-in-the-blank wide receiver.
Sounds easy enough.
Okay, let's
All
do
right,
this.
Let's get started. Obviously, I think most people consider Amon-Ra St. Brown to be a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, so we're not going to do any of these lower-tier guys.
Yeah, who is better than Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Right. All right, let's get things started off with a tough one. A.J. Brown or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Before last year, I would have said A.J. Brown has all the physical traits that you cannot teach, and he's a little bit more of a versatile player when it comes to his skill set. But what if I told you A.J. Brown last season had a 60% contested catch rate, and Amon-Ra St. Brown had a 66% contested catch rate? Amon-Ra St. Brown is consistently coming up with more contested catches, plus over the past 2 seasons, he's had more yards, more receptions, and more touchdowns than A.J. Brown. Plus, doesn't complain when he doesn't get the ball. The production speaks for itself. I'd rather have Amon-Ra St. Brown at this point.
How about the guy we didn't see yesterday? How about Tyreek Hill?
I don't want anything to do with Tyreek Hill business anymore. It seems like he is purposely getting everyone to dislike him and causing cracks in the Miami chemistry. I don't want anything to do with Tyreek Hill. It feels like he's almost intentionally making his teammates upset and pissing off Miami media, his teammates, his coaches, his fans. I don't think he wants anything to do with Miami. Therefore, I don't want anything to do with him if I'm another NFL team, if he's already quitting on the Miami Dolphins.
Okay, but what about his actual on-the-field ability? You know, I understand that the off-the-field stuff is easy to take into consideration here, but...
No, I think this is just a ticking time bomb. I just don't want to be in business with this guy. It feels like that kind of stuff is bigger than the on-the-field stuff at this point. And it translates and bleeds onto the on-the-field stuff. What's going on with his shoe? He's hurt. He's not hurt. He doesn't have his shoes on. Now he doesn't have socks. There's always just something else with him. And I'd rather just have the guy who's consistently good at football and nothing else. Just wants to play football. That's St. Brown.
Okay.
I'd rather have St. Brown.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's get a couple of easy ones out of the way. How about Jamar Chase?
I'd rather have Jamar Chase.
How about Justin Jefferson?
I would rather have Justin Jefferson than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Right. I think those are the two pretty easy locks to be over St. Brown. There really is no argument there. It's nothing against St. Brown. It's just
those are the two best receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, let's skip it over to a rookie coming off his rookie season, Malik Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors has all the upside in the world to get into the top 3 conversation in terms of what he can really do. He brings so much speed to the table and deep playability. He can run precise routes, but Amon-Ra's just done it for longer, man. I'd rather have Amon-Ra right now. It's more of a guarantee.
How about one of the other rookies from last year that shined even more than Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr.?
Brian Thomas, another one of those guys that probably would benefit from having a different quarterback because Trevor Lawrence tries to throw him hospital balls nonstop and also just puts them out of reach of him. But I still think St. Brown, in terms of what he has become, is just maybe a better version of Brian Thomas Jr.
Do you think that there's a world where either of those two guys can pass St. Brown this season, or is that really not an option, you think?
Not this season. Malik Neighbors maybe has a chance just because, Malik Neighbors probably has a chance from a statistical standpoint because he's kind of the only option over in New York. So maybe he's force-fed the ball and leads the league in targets. But in terms of who's just a better receiver, I don't think either of those guys have a chance to pass St. Brown this year. Maybe down the line.
All right, I got a good one for you here because you've talked this guy up a lot all offseason. I know you're one of his biggest fans.
I know who this is.
Former Michigan man Nico Collins.
Yeah, this one's going to upset a lot of Lions fans, but I would rather have Nico Collins.
Really?
I think he's the most underrated receiver in the NFL. He's got the deep game. He's got the route running ability. He's got the contested catch. He can throw him screens. He's got the size, most importantly. Not that St. Brown is a small wide receiver, but Nico Collins a little bit bigger, can go get that deep ball and go up and get the long ball a little bit better. I don't think there's a weakness in Nico Collins' game. I think he's the closest thing we have to the Jefferson and Jamar Chase tier. He is up there. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. And I think now that he is healthy and has a little bit of support, hopefully this offensive line's better for Houston. I do think Nico Collins by the end of this season is considered one of the 5 best wide receivers in the NFL, unanimously across the league. I already think that highly of him.
Wow. I did not expect that. I like Nico too, but I didn't think he was in this conversation of, if we're thinking St. Brown as a top 6 receiver, that's putting Nico up there, man.
I think Nico Collins is the most underrated receiver in the NFL. He does not have a weakness in his game. He's great at everything. He just lacks the raw numbers that put him up there with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, but I think that's mostly because he's been injured, so those season highs haven't got as high as some of those other guys, and also his quarterback doesn't have an offensive line, so he's running around for his life most plays.
Okay, that's fair. Let's go to another guy that maybe you haven't been so high on as other people. How about Puka Nacua?
Yeah, I'm going with St. Brown here. I like Nacua. I wouldn't say I love Nacua. He brings a very specific skill set to the table. He's going to be a hard runner. He's going to run a guy over. If you're a DB lined up on him, you're probably just too small to cover him. And once he catches that ball, yak guy. But Amon-Ra St. Brown has also been second in yak before in the NFL. He's also strong as an ox. So I think St. Brown is just a more versatile player than Puka Nacua. He could be a Puka Nacua, but is a little bit smarter about I'm going to avoid contact here and preserve my body over the course of 18 games rather than trying to take someone's head off every play.
Okay, I like that. I understand. They're pretty different guys as well. And I think sometimes it can be hard to compare St. Brown to these guys just because of he really is not like a lot of these receivers. You know, he's not your traditional. He's much smaller. He just plays a different.
He's not that small. He's like 6'2".
Compare, I mean, most of these guys that we've said are outside guys, you know? Like a majority of these guys are. Most of the time, your wide receiver one is not this inside slot guy. There obviously is those, you know, Cooper Kupp was for the longest time, but
Cooper Kupp is probably the closest thing we've had to him. Jacoby Myers kind of similar to St. Brown too.
Sure,
just
but I mean,
get
we're not
talked about a lot.
Jacoby Myers is not anywhere near these other guys, though. You know.
Yeah, but I also think Jacoby Myers is a little underrated. He's like the Walmart version of St. Brown.
He's underrated, but like he's not on the same tier as these guys. You know, I'm just talking because these guys are a lot of these guys are outside receivers. Most of the time, your number one guy is. So I just think it's kind of interesting to compare St. Brown to them.
But like just because you play on the inside, I don't think should knock you. Like St. Brown has proven to be unstoppable from the inside.
I'm not saying it does. I just think it's interesting that he is the Lions wide receiver one because there isn't a lot of teams that have that guy as their top guy. So
I'm trying to think of another team that does. I mean, like a Brock Bowers in a way kind of is.
this year will be for the Seahawks.
Brock Bowers basically is a receiver, and he's always going to line up from that inside spot. So
right, Rashee Rice probably for the Chiefs this season is going to be that guy. But yeah, those are just some guys. Let's talk about a dude that got the bag this offseason, Ben. Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson is stuck in quarterback hell. He's never had a great one. He still doesn't have a great one in Justin Fields. He makes all these highlight plays, so he's like one of these Instagram superstars. Playing for New York as well definitely helps, but come on, there's no way anyone can make the argument that he's a better receiver right now than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Right. You could argue he honestly just hasn't been given the opportunity to even show that he is, you know, which is nothing against St. Brown, but let's talk about a guy that had a career year last season, was maybe in the same situation as Garrett Wilson up until last year, Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin has had one spectacular season. He's been really good, but he's really only had one spectacular season. St. Brown has now stacked two of those on top of each other with another third one in the chamber ready to come. So I'm going to go with St. Brown.
Okay. I got two more for you. I'm going to save the tough one for last. This one I think I know the answer to, but he's been a top 5, top 10 receiver basically his whole career. Is he still one, though? How about Davante Adams?
Ooh, I thought you were going to say Mike Evans there.
No,
I'd rather have St. Brown than Davante Adams at this point. Like, Davante Adams is still, to me, one of the 10-ish best wide receivers in the NFL, but St. Brown, you know, the numbers speak for themselves, man. Back-to-back first-team All-Pros. This is like back when Davante Adams was the best receiver in the NFL. So I think he's regressed a little bit. I'll go with St. Brown. He's still in his prime.
Peak Davante, I think, is over, obviously, current version of St. Brown. But, yeah, Davante definitely fallen off a little bit. I was going to do Mike Evans, but it's just kind of obvious, right? I mean,
St. Brown.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I saved the toughest one for last. Amon-Ra St. Brown or CeeDee Lamb?
These guys have almost identical numbers from 2023. Number 1 and number 2 in receptions, number 1 and number 2 in yards after the catch. And then obviously St. Brown has a much better statistical season than him in 2024, but that was mostly because Dak was hurt, so CD ends up having this down year. These are like the closest guys to me in terms of like the toughest decision I had to make. But I'm probably going to lean CeeDee Lamb here because he just has more big play ability. St. Brown gets knocked for being the slot guy, safety route. That's not at all who he is. He's going to get you pickups of 15-plus yards all the time, but past 2 years, CeeDee Lamb has had more 20-plus yard receptions than St. Brown, so I'll go with CeeDee Lamb there. Very tough decision.
I think I would also go with CeeDee Lamb there. Like you said, it's tough. I think him, A.J. Brown, and St. Brown are really close, that trio.
Yeah.
And you ranked them, what, CD, Amon-Ra, A.J.? You had A.J. third there?
I did. So I have Amon-Ra St. Brown as the 4th best receiver in the NFL. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair as well. The top 2 I think are untouched, and then that, like I said, that trio to fill out the rest of the top 5.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Pretty tight.
I had him 5th.
Oh, you have Nico Collins over him. Yeah.
I have Amon-Ra St. Brown I have St. Brown as the 5th best quarterback in the NFL. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and Nico Collins ahead of him. He's number 5 ahead of A.J. Brown, ahead of Garrett Wilson.
5th best receiver, not quarterback, yeah.
I said quarterback?
Yes.
I have Amon-Ra St. Brown as the 5th best receiver in the NFL behind Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, and Nico Collins. There you go. 989-837-6125. We'll hit the news when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Wednesday afternoon, Great Lakes took care of Wisconsin 7-3. Getting great performances, Jake Geloff with a 2-homer game, and Great Lakes as a squad stealing 6 bases. Kendall George stole 3. His third would be the 204th this season for Great Lakes, setting already a new franchise record in a single season. George takes off. Pitch is low. The throw down is nowhere close. George is Mr. 204 and helps Great Lakes set a new franchise record. He moves to third too because that throw was right of Pena, even with an outstretched effort. It's George's third swipe of the game, and for Great Lakes overall, they're 5th in this contest. Back to baseball tonight, Great Lakes and Wisconsin. First pitch from Appleton at 7:40 here on The Mitt. It's the Scholar Athlete of the Month, proudly presented by Fisher Companies here on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. This month's recipient is Scarlett Mason from Standish Sterling High School. With a 4.3 GPA, Scarlett's a member of the track and field team and a state champion in swimming. Scarlett, a member of the National Honor Society, and PALS, a student support group.
We get qualified, and then we are someone that if a student is uncomfortable talking to an adult, they can come talk to us about what's going on at home or whatever they're struggling with. The biggest thing was it raised mental health awareness, and I think that's huge in high school.
Scarlett will be attending and swimming at Wayne State in the fall. To hear the full interview and nominate a local athlete for our scholarship program, visit 1009themitt.com.
Mirror on the wall, whose house is the nicest on the block of them all?
Not yours.
What do you mean?
Your siding is faded, your gutters are falling off, and you have shingles missing. I suggest you call Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
I'm going to call Bresky Siding and Building Repair right now. Mirror on the wall, now whose house is the nicest of them all?
Yours is, kind sir, yours is.
Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today.
A beautiful yard increases both the value of your home and the quality of your life. Commercially, landscaping creates a positive impression of your professionalism and commitment to community, customers, and employees. Cervinsky Sod has been creating and maintaining outdoor spaces for 56 years. Whether your project is residential or commercial, the team at Cervinsky Sod Services will work with you to build and meet budgets and finish the job with top quality and in a timely manner. To get a quote, call 989-835-4810 or visit CervinskySodService.com.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be worse this season, but still go 12-5 and win the NFC North. I think the Minnesota Vikings are the biggest threat to steal the NFC North from the Detroit Lions. I think we got to taper back our expectations for Bryce Underwood, with him being an 18-year-old freshman and all. I think the lack of aggression from Scott Harris at the MLB trade deadline is going to haunt the Tigers for years to come. And I think you should listen to the Ben Bosscher Show weekdays from 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, if you agree or disagree with anything I just said.
You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic?
Yeah.
We've got them on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
989-837-6125. The road to 300 subscribers on YouTube is officially underway. We're 4 away. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. That's our goal by the end of the week. Let's do it by the end of the show. All right? So if you haven't subscribed, bam, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Help us out. All right, Kyle, time to hit the news.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
Okay, let's hop into the news, Ben.
Oh,
how have we gone this long without letting everyone know? It's a Scooble Bump Day today.
Yep.
Tigers obviously picked up the win against the White Sox yesterday. We're going to get into that, but they start a 4-game series with the Twins tonight. First pitch is at 7:40. It is Tarek Skubal versus Bailey Ober. Last time the Tigers took on Bailey Ober was on June 28th. He gave up 4 home runs, 11 hits, and 7 earned runs against the Tigers. So hopefully we get a little repeat of that today.
Yeah, I mean, again, this Twins team, it's kind of unbelievable that the Tigers lost to them in a series a couple weeks ago because they are horrendous in the post-deadline era. They sold on their entire team. Most of their team are just prospects or guys that they're waiting to inevitably DFA at some point. It's one of the worst teams in baseball post-deadline. So 4-game series this weekend. It's tough to expect a 4-game sweep, so I am going to put the expectation on the Tigers, though, that they take 3 of 4, which is a difficult thing to pull off, but that is the gap between the Twins and any team that considers themselves a World Series contender. And it starts with Skubal on the mound tonight, so you get a win. Cross your fingers. You should be up 1-0, then just take 2 of the next 3.
You would hope so. I mean, that definitely should be the case. But the Twins are coming off a win against the Yankees yesterday. So,
lost the series.
Right. So hopefully the Tigers can get a little bit of a win streak going. Speaking of win streaks, the Brewers continue their crazy win streak. Their 12th straight victory. They had won 11 straight games twice this season, but they get to 12. And this is a big number for the Brewers because the George Webb chain restaurants in the Milwaukee area have their promotion where if the Brewers win 12 straight games, it's free burgers for the whole city of Milwaukee. And I kind of dove into the history of this, Ben. It's pretty cool. This has been going on since 1970, since the Brewers moved to Milwaukee from Seattle. It actually was going on way before then, too, in Seattle. But in 1970, they changed it to 12 games. It used to be a 15-game win streak. When they moved to Milwaukee, they changed it. It's happened twice that the Brewers have won this many games in a row. And in 1987, the Brewers opened the season with 13 straight wins. More than 170,000 burgers were given away. This also happened in 2018 where the Brewers closed the season winning 8 straight and then won 4 straight in the playoffs. So the details on how many burgers are going to be given away from the George Webb restaurants come out today. Excited to see that.
I wonder what the owner of this restaurant thinks about this. Because on one hand, how many people do you think are visiting your restaurant for the first time and getting hooked on your burger and then they're likely to come back? But on the other hand, how much money are you losing by giving away free burgers for an entire day? That's fascinating stuff.
It is, but also, like, it's not just the people trying the burgers. It's had you ever heard of this chain restaurant until today?
It's the first time ever hearing of it.
Me either, so there's something added to it as well. I would assume that the owners are doing pretty well if they're willing to do something like this.
Yeah, but it's also like a thing that they kind of bank on never happening. But I don't know if it happens once in a blue moon. Probably going to help them out. They just got to hope it doesn't happen again.
Right, yeah, I would say so.
Twice in a season would probably be pretty detrimental to the restaurant. I'm not a business owner, so
it almost happened twice this season. They won 11 straight earlier this week, or earlier this year. Finally get to 12 last night. See if they can keep things going to 13.
What would be the restaurant you'd want, like semi-Michigan based, to do this for the Tigers if they won 12 straight games? Free this.
Probably like Culver's, right? I'm just thinking of like a Midwest place.
What about like
that's fast food?
Jets?
I don't know if we're doing
what about
like
a Jets pizza?
Oh, it's got it. I thought we were doing burgers here.
I didn't say it had to be burgers. I'm just thinking of like Michigan-based chains.
Right, yeah. I got a good one. How about Lil C's,
That
free
that
hot
would
readies.
be clever, but Chris Illich isn't giving that away.
I ain't giving he might just like, hey, 50 cents off a hot and ready, something like that.
I don't know. That's a lot of money to lose.
Okay, we're talking about teams that are hot right now. Let's talk about teams that are not. The Dodgers get swept by the Angels, Ben. 3 straight losses, and they have lost the division lead in the National League West to the Padres. Ohtani pitching yesterday. He went 4 1/3, giving up 4 runs, and the Dodgers lose the Battle of L.A., you could say, with the Angels.
They got swept by the Angels this year in the Freeway Series. I'm trying to remember the first time in history. Oh my God. Angels sweep the Dodgers out of 2025 for the first time in the Freeway Series history.
Ever?
History.
Wow.
They've lost 7 consecutive games to the Angels. Wow. Still worried about the Dodgers? Panic level on the Dodgers this season?
Ooh, I mean, like for me or just in general?
in general for you, I don't know. I still think by the time the postseason rolls around, I'm probably picking them to win the World Series, and the books reflect that. They're still the heavy favorites to win the World Series.
Which is crazy, even though they've lost the division lead. Like, I understand when they're still leaders of the division, having them as the favorites and everything. The fact that they aren't even in the lead anymore, they're a wild card team, kind of crazy to put them in that spot. But they just probably assume they're going to end the season strong.
Well, they're also going to get hammered if they ever drop their odds. Like, if they end up being like, oh, they're not the favorites anymore, I will be betting them.
They have, gone up, though. I mean, even just yesterday, I think they were plus 160 to win the National League. They're all the way up to plus 195 now. So, it's been moving a little bit. Tigers now are tied for second, by the way, with the Blue Jays, so they continue to drop a little bit.
In just the American League?
Just the American League, yes, with Seattle still leading things. Okay, we got bad news for the Dodgers. Let's do a little bit of good news, and this reflects here with the Great Lakes Loons and at Dow Diamond a little bit. MLB Pipeline obviously came out with their new top 100 list. That means they did the mid-season rankings of their overall farm systems, and the LA Dodgers have the #1 farm system in all of baseball, Ben. Obviously, a ton of those guys, 4 out of the top 5 are here with Great Lakes. So super cool to see the Dodgers farm system get reflected like that.
Yeah, future of baseball here at Dow Diamond today. Not today, but throughout the course of the season. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Also horrifying that the Dodgers, arguably best team in baseball, also have the #1 farm system, which is the situation the Tigers found themselves in, and then they didn't spend their farm system.
Right.
Where are the Tigers at?
Tigers fell down to number 6. They started the season at #1 overall. They have fallen all the way to 6, which is still like a good spot to be at, obviously. Kevin McGonigal being #2 overall prospect.
Yeah, it's very top-heavy. It's those top guys pushing them
4
up the
top
rankings.
35 guys, and then after that, it definitely falls off. And there's a couple other teams near the top that are really good, too. Like the Brewers have a top 5 system, and they're the best team in the league. So just well-run organizations, that are near the top there. All right, let's talk about some sad NFL news. Ex-Bronco Lionel Taylor, who was the first player ever with 100 catches in a season, has passed away at age 89. He was the first receiver in either the AFL or NFL history to have at least 100 receptions in a season. He is also believed to have been the first black coach to be named a coordinator in the NFL.
Nice.
So shout out to Lionel Taylor passing away at age 89. We got some Shedeur Sanders news.
Oh, I've been waiting.
Right, yeah. Big game, obviously, last week in preseason for the Browns. He's unlikely to play, though, in their game Saturday with that oblique injury that he tweaked at practice this week. Tough,
I still have no idea who's going to be the Browns starting quarterback.
It's going to be Flacco, for sure.
For sure?
Yeah, for sure going to be Flacco to start the year. Shedeur's injured.
But is it like in long-term thing, or is he going to be fine 2 weeks from now?
Well, he'll probably be fine 2 weeks from now, but I don't think he starts week 1. Like, why would Flacco even come there if he wasn't going to play?
Why? I don't know. Why do the Browns do anything?
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's even going to play for them this week, because I'm pretty sure Dylan Gabriel's still banged up. Obviously, Kenny Pickett is, so might get a little Snoop Huntley action for the Browns this week. We will see. More NFL news. Cam Ward, talking about rookie quarterbacks, was in the media yesterday talking about their post-joint practice, and he said he thinks the Titans have a top 5 wide receiver core in the NFL.
All right.
Look, he didn't even need to bring this up. He wasn't asked, like, hey, where does your wide receiver core rank? He was just talking about their offense. He goes, I mean, we easily have a top 5 wide receiver core in the league. Their wide receiver core, to remind people, are Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, and Van Jefferson are the top 3 receivers listed on their depth chart.
Yeah, man. It's one thing to hype up your team. It's another thing to spew total BS. That's just one of the most false statements
Do they have
I've ever
the worst
heard.
receiver core in the NFL? Are they
can't
number
be the
32?
Worst. Isn't Jerry Jeudy the Browns wide receiver 1?
Yeah, Judy's not bad.
Not as good as Ridley.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's the Browns probably, and then the Titans. Maybe the Raiders are pretty bad as well, but
they've got Bowers at
But
least.
if we're just doing wide receiver core, which is what he said. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty tough news there. We'll end things off here with some more Jerry Jones stuff, which, by the way, that documentary, I've yet to watch it. It's been getting pretty positive reviews, so I might have to check it out at some point. We talked about yesterday the news of him having that experimental drug that helped him get by cancer. Well, there's more news that came out, and this is not coming from the doc, but Jerry Jones stays in the news. He says there is nothing that is currently stopping him and Micah Parsons from getting a contract discussion done, but yet nothing has progressed. Yeah.
He loves this, man.
He does.
And they're going to sign him to be the highest paid edge rusher in the league, and he's going to come in. He's going to want everyone to praise him for getting this contract done, because at the end of the day, he wants to be the star of the show, and I don't just mean the Dallas Cowboys. I mean the NFL. And let's be honest, he's done a pretty good job of that. I mean, his logo is literally the Dallas Stars.
You know?
Or their logo is literally a star. Yeah. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. 989-837-6125. We'll get to a couple Mitt messages. But also, we got a draft coming up. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
At First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, floors don't just get coated, they get a makeover. Epoxy's so tough, it shrugs off spills, stains, and even your wildest dance moves. Garages, workshops, anywhere you want a floor that's smooth, shiny, and just a little bit sassy, they handle it all with style. No more boring floors. Get ready to impress everyone who walks through the door. Slide into durability and flair. First Class Epoxy Floor and Counter, where your floors get the VIP treatment they didn't know they needed.
In times of financial uncertainty, how can you stay on track? Call on someone who's invested in your success. I'm Kevin Spencer, your Midland Edward Jones financial advisor. At Edward Jones, we believe in building a complete picture of your financial life, including your unique goals and passions, so we can help you work towards achieving what's most important to you.
Contact Kevin Spencer today at 832-8428. 832-8428. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Fueled by wonder and powered by science. At Dow, we're imagining better things for our customers and communities. It starts with our commitment to reach carbon neutrality by 2050. Designing, building, and inspiring for the world around us. Because when we wonder, the things our world needs could be just one breakthrough away. That's Dow.
The Michigan Baseball Foundation is more than just baseball. It's a driver of economic growth and community. Operating one of the nation's top minor league stadiums, MBF supports job creation and regional development. Through creative partnerships and charitable giving, MBF has helped bring projects like Dow Diamond, the East End Development, Fairfield Inn and Suites, the Plaza, and the Dow Bay Area Family YMCA to life, generating over $23 million annually in economic impact. Every Great Lakes Loons ticket supports these efforts. Learn more at MichiganBaseballFoundation.org.
Celebrate the 75th anniversary of a Peanuts Christmas with the Great Lakes Loons on Friday, August 29th. Relive the heartwarming classic in a festive atmosphere filled with nostalgia and holiday cheer. The team will also wear Peanuts-inspired jerseys that fans can bid on during a live online auction. For tickets, head to loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
The Ben Bosscher Show is brand new, and to celebrate, we want to make sure one listener is a big winner every Wednesday.
That's what this is all about. It always has been about.
Every Wednesday this summer at 10:15 a.m., we're giving away 2 tickets to your favorite Major League Baseball team, the Detroit Tigers. This is your chance to head to Comerica Park on us, and thanks to our friends over at Garber Chevrolet Midland. Again, Detroit Tigers tickets every Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. on the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
From Midland to Bay City, Saginaw to Sanford, from Frankenmuth, Freeland, and Hemlock to Auburn, Essexville, and Pinconning, 100.9 The Mitt is the heartbeat of the Great Lakes Bay region, and proud of it. We're your home for local sports, local stories, and local pride. Whether you're in Birch Run, Beaverton, Gladwin, Chesaning, or Coleman, football, basketball, hockey, Spartans, NFL, Loons, all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader. Scrolling? Make it count. Want local sports content that actually matters? Yeah. 100.9 The Mitt is loaded with local highlights, viral plays, breaking sports news, and takes you can't get enough of.
It's hot!
Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube today, and you'll never be out of the loop on the Lions, Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan State, and even the biggest stories in high school sports in the Great Lakes Bay region. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan's sports leader. This is more than just a lineup. It's a daily ritual for the die-hard Michigan sports fans. At 6 a.m., Anthony Bellino wakes up the state with Spin on Sports.
I do not believe it.
At 9, the Ben Bosscher Show is appointment listening hosted here in the Great Lakes Bay region.
I would like to buy some Casey Mine stock.
America's Best takes over at noon. The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Well, what about Patrick Mahomes?
And at 3, Bill Simonson brings it home on The Huge Show. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt for the most passionate fans in Michigan.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Michigan. This message presented by the MHSAA and the Michigan Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
All right, let's get a Mitt message in the mix here. This is from Jeremy. Again, 989-837-6125. Completely agree with you guys on the St. Brown conversation. Would only take Chase and Jefferson ahead of him. Also, Tyreek Hill reminds me so much of and is on the brink of becoming the next AB. Fire up, Chips.
Fire up, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tyreek Hill is probably the closest thing we have to AB. You know, really good on the field. A lot of stuff going on off the field. Definitely not as much as AB, but
not yet.
True that.
AB had a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't know if AB will ever be topped, especially what he's become post NFL career. I don't think AB will ever be topped as far as his off the field stuff in a bad way. So yeah.
Yeah, that'd be the goal. There's still a mural of him hanging up in the Sport Clips Mount Pleasant location.
I used to have an AB number 27 Chippewas jersey.
What happened to it?
It was like a jersey. It was like when I was a little kid, and I honestly don't know what happened to it.
You gotta frame that.
I know, but I don't know what happened to it. It's gone. I was like 12. Yeah.
That's all right. Kyle, I experienced something yesterday where I just felt like the dude. I felt like the man.
The dude.
I bought a TV, and I set it up last night, and I get it all good. My new apartment, got the couch, and I'm just sitting there like, man, there is not a lot of better feelings than sitting down on a new couch, brand new TV, turning that thing on, and it just being like, hey, the first thing, because it's linked to the Google account. Hey, you want to watch Amon-Ra St. Brown's media session yesterday? Why, yes, I do. Thank you for asking. So it sparked an idea. I kind of wanted to do this. It's a little fun. It's a little goofy, but let's do a draft of the things that make you feel the most like a man.
And buying a TV was what sparked this for you.
Setting it up, yeah, I felt manly.
Yeah, okay, I'm in for this. This is good. I think there's a lot of different directions we can go with this. I have a lot of options. Hopefully you don't take any of mine because I have good ones. So how many picks you want to do?
Let's go 4 each. I'll go first.
Okay.
Mowing the lawn, pick number 1. Mowing the lawn specifically without a shirt on. Just cruising along, letting the sun get you
I think I'm out on
sweating.
doing it with the shirt off, though.
On a hot summer day?
I'll go with cutoff. You know, you get the grass hitting you, dirt getting all over you. Like I'll go with the cutoff or wife beater if I'm mowing the lawn. You know.
Fair enough. That's my number 1. It's a feeling like no other to just push it around, making sure the grass is watered.
It's pretty good. I had that on my big board. I also included it with plus weed whipping. You know, if you get the weed whip out with it, I think that's like the 2-for-1 kind of.
Yeah.
But I won't like draft it because I think that kind of just like comes with it.
Yard work.
Yeah. Just do it. Yeah, exactly.
Lawn work specifically.
Yeah, mowing the lawn's a good pick. I think that was my number 2 on my big board. But you let the top dog slip to me, Ben.
I don't think I did.
There's nothing more that makes it feel like a man than grilling. That's my pick number 1. You're grilling. You got a giant spatula in your right hand, and you got a beer in your left hand. And there's music playing in the background. There's burgers. There's steak. There's chicken. Maybe there's some hot dogs on there. Maybe even got some potatoes and some tinfoil on there. Grilling is the number 1 thing that makes you feel like a man.
It's a good one. It was on my big board.
Yeah.
Probably should have taken that one, but I'm glad this one's still available.
Those are my top 2, though. So I think that we worked out in that spot.
How about this? using power tools. Using power tools, whether you're sawing wood or using a drill, it doesn't matter. If it's a power tool and you're working on a home project, manly feeling.
Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. Oh man, I have some really tough ones here. So I had that really wasn't on my big board, but I have one that's similar to it. So I think I'm just gonna not draft it because it's kind of similar to that.
What was it?
Well, I might draft it. I'll keep it in the back pocket for now. I have a few different things, and I don't know which one is the best one to go with. So I think I'm gonna go with. This is a pretty obscure one, but you're on the first tee at the golf course at like an outing, or just there's a ton of people there, and you put your driver in the fairway in a high pressure situation on the first tee. It's pretty specific, but that makes you feel like a man. There really is nothing else more in golf, maybe in sports, that does than that. So that is my number 4 pick.
We'll be golfing later, see if we can live up to the hype.
It could be a high pressure situation. Who knows?
My 3rd pick, I'm going with working on your car outside. You're down underneath, you're in the hood, you're checking everything out. You got grease all over your hands and on your face. Yeah, that's got to be on this list.
That's good.
Working on your car.
That's a good one, man. I enjoy that pick. I had that on my big board. I think that's like changing your oil was what that's what I described it as, but that is essentially that. Okay, that's good. So we're going with a lot of like summer picks here, because it seems like that's kind of the move, being out in the summer. I have shoveling snow on my big board. I don't think I'm going to take it, though. What I'm going to go with is it's kind of similar to the grilling pick. You're the one driving the boat with a bunch of people on it. You are in charge of driving and docking the boat. That's on you. You do that with a bunch of people on it, that makes you feel like a man. So that'll be my pick.
Especially if you can get it like smoothly.
Oh, yeah. One take. You don't got to put it in reverse. Like, it's easy. Yeah. That's my pick.
I'm going to go with diffusing a situation while staying calm. Like, you take the high road and you kind of separate the two parties of what's going on and have everyone come to a decision, and you do it in a calm manner.
Have you ever done this?
Once or twice before.
Because you're not like the calmest guy in the world.
No, but I feel like when people are angry around me, I actually go the opposite way. But yeah, I tend to get a little mad, especially in competition. In sport.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a little bit different. Okay. That's a good one. I didn't really consider that. That makes you feel like a different type of man, like, I'm the higher up person.
Mm-hmm.
I got Nate from Saginaw in the chat saying, Kyle, you're a genius.
Thanks.
What? I don't know. Probably for these elite picks that I've had, and I'm about to take the best one here.
Go ahead.
So this is the last pick, right? So we're doing 4 apiece, or do you want to do 5 apiece?
Let's do 5 apiece.
Okay, good, because I have another good one.
I have 2 more good ones.
Okay. This is what sparked the conversation for you. Sitting on the couch for 8 hours on Sunday. That makes you feel like a man. I'm doing nothing on Sunday. It's the one day I'm not doing anything. I'll get all my physical activity in the 6 prior days to that. But I am planting on that couch all day. So maybe it'll do something a little bit before in the day. But from noon to 9, chilling. That makes you feel like a man.
All right. I've got one. I've got 2 more if you've got 2 more.
Well, that was we're going 5 picks apiece, so this is your last pick. We don't have a ton of time left,
I'm debating between chopping wood and bench pressing 225. Those are my last 2. I'm going to go with chopping wood.
Okay.
Chopping wood is like top tier.
Yes.
Like, you just got your axe, you're outside, you're chopping up firewood for a fire later on.
Is it manlier than the chainsaw? Like if you're going at a big tree with the chainsaw?
No.
Yeah.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah, like the act of chopping wood is, yeah.
The axe itself, and especially if you're going to start a fire later on in the day with that wood.
Ooh, that's good. Even being the fire starter without like any
no lighter
actual
fluid.
Fires. Yeah, exactly.
No lighter fluid needed.
That's a pretty good one too. A couple of suggestions in the chat. I won't take any of these, but they're kind of funny. Installing a camera and then watching the camera on my phone made me feel like a man. like a
ring cam?
Well, or it could be like for hunting, like a hunting cam.
Oh, I'm not a hunter. That could
winning
have been on
your
the list.
fantasy league. Ooh, that's pretty good. But I won't take that. So I had shoveling snow as one of them, but I'm just gonna. This is a pretty simple one. loading stuff into a truck. You know, like maybe it's a bunch of wood pellets, or it's like we're loading a couch maybe into something. You're just carrying stuff and throwing it into the back of a truck.
That's good.
That's my final pick.
You know, somehow throughout the course of this conversation, we've gained one more subscriber, which has put us on 297 for the total count on YouTube. We are 3 away from 300. If you want to be that 300 subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Even if you're listening in your car, pull up the YouTube after you park. Hit the subscribe button because we're trying to get to 300 by the end of the week. But now I just want to do it by the end of the day. I know 300 is nothing to brag about, but hey, I think it's pretty cool to see this grow because it was 0 2 months ago. So keep it going. We're episode 51 of the Ben Bosscher Show now. This has been fantastic to watch it grow. 989-837-6125. Detroit Tigers pick up a interesting win yesterday. Let's go over an excellent bullpen outing when we come back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Isaiah, how did you get all wet?
I was playing in the rain.
Son, you're in the house. It's not raining inside. Or is it?
Yeah, it's in the kitchen.
What?
Oh no, the roof has a leak.
Leak? That's a waterfall.
We need that fixed now.
Rexy Siding and Building Repair can fix it.
What, son?
Any job, anywhere. Bresky can do it all.
Call Bresky right now and get that roof fixed. And while you're at it, have him fix the gutters.
Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Allie Huntoon, the director and founder of Allied HR Solutions and Allied Group Fitness.
Lean on people I trust to help me get through things too. If I know that I'm overwhelmed or I need support with something, you know, I usually try to reach out. Sometimes I'm still trying to do things all myself.
Yep.
And that's a learning curve too. Delegation is your friend.
Yep.
I'm learning that.
That's something I definitely need to learn.
So I think it's leaning on your team. I think it's putting things into perspective. You know, even though HR is very important and we have things all the time that come up with terminations or discrimination or harassment.
Listen to the full interview with Allie on YouTube on 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford.
Hey sports fans, heading up north? Whether you're gearing up for the big game, hosting friends, or winding down after a long day, Hops and Schnapps is your ultimate beverage destination. With one of the largest selections of beer, wine, and spirits in Michigan featuring over 1,000 options from around the globe, we're your beverage experts. Plus, our friendly team is here to help you find the perfect pick. Visit us in Standish, Grayling, and Gaylord today. Hops and Schnapps, raise your glass, raise your spirits.
Hey, did you guys catch anything yet?
Not a thing.
Bummer, neither have we. I'm actually just about to head into town. I'm gonna go into Higher Standards Automotive. They got this award-winning service department with amazing technicians and this large parts department in case I want to fix it myself. They got the part there.
Whatever.
No, I'm serious, man. It's out there.
Yeah, just like when you tried to convince me Bigfoot was real.
Ray?
Bigfoot's behind me, isn't he?
Yeah, we got it. Run! Get out! Stop into Higher Standards Automotive, North Eastman Road in Midland, right past the mall.
Something happens when we can't be our true selves. You can hear it in our laughs. There's the half-hearted chuckle.
Oh.
The courtesy conference caller.
Yeah, great.
And of course, the I'm only laughing because I'm dating your daughter.
Oh, that's so true.
If you want to laugh for real, try having some Miller Lite with some friends. It works. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin beer.
From the Blazy Electric Studios, this is Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt, WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Nine 837-6125. Yesterday, Kyle, the Tigers pick up a win, and it is in a fashion that we haven't seen in quite some time. A 1-0 win. Honestly, I'm almost starting to question whether or not that game happened yesterday because it feels like so long ago at this point with that 2 o'clock start. But yeah, it was in fact yesterday. 1-0 win. Troy Mountain comes out and is a starter, opener, kind of a combination of both. Sawyer Gibson-Long comes in and does the exact same thing. Tigers end up throwing 4 pitchers out there between Sawyer Gipson-Long, Troy Melton, Will Vest, and Kyle Finnegan, and they do an under 100 pitch outing combined.
Really? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, no, I don't have the exact total in front of me, but less than 100 pitches. I do know that. And they end up getting the shutout. The bullpen and the pitching staff on a non-Tarek Skubal day came through clutch and actually made a difference in a game where the offense couldn't really get anything going. So that was a really nice change of pace to see. And also, like you said this to me when we went and played basketball afterwards, they actually pitched 4 good pitchers. And there wasn't a guy that you threw out there that was a huge liability. Sawyer Gipson-Long was kind of this forgotten guy, out of sight, out of mind. But him being on the team, Troy Melton being on the team, one and the same pitcher right now to me, kind of this guy that isn't really a starter, isn't really a bullpen guy, kind of these hybrid roles depending on what you need him to do. Now all of a sudden, this addition, I'm thinking to myself, I don't think I'm not trying to sell like, hey, bullpen's fixed, everything's good. But those 4 guys, that's something right there. There's something to work with there.
Right. Yeah, I totally think that yesterday's game was just a realization of like, oh, shocker. When you pitch guys that you actually are confident in and know they're good, you tend to win baseball games, right? And obviously you didn't feel insanely confident about the bats only putting up 1 run. But like I said, they pitch guys that you feel good about. And if you can get through 7 without having to pitch any of those random dudes, then you feel good about Finnegan and Vest to shut down the rest of the game. So to me, I think that the recipe is there as far as how to fix this bullpen. The issue is getting through 7 innings without having to pitch any of those middle guys is just obviously not something you can do consistently. So it was good to see Melton in a starting role. I've been the guy advocating that I really think he probably has the 3rd or 4th highest ceiling as far as any starting pitchers on this team the rest of the season. I understand the reasoning for bringing him out of the pen like you've talked about. It is a good point. But now you have kind of 2 of those guys with Sawyer Gipson-Long coming back. I see some Tigers fans weren't super happy about Melton getting pulled from the game after 5. He was only 53 pitches in.
Yeah.
My take back to that is there was no reason to bring up Sawyer Gipson-Long if he wasn't going to go multiple innings. I think originally Melton was probably only going to go 3 or 4. He was just pitching so well and so fast that he ends up getting through 5. Gipson-Long only goes 2, and then it takes him to the end of the game. So it was a really encouraging outing to see, like, hey, A.J. Hinch, Scott Harris, this is what can happen if you don't pitch any of those guys that no one feels confident about. It's just hard to get through those games most of the time.
Well, also now you've got him for one of these games against Minnesota. Like, yeah, you could have let him go 8 innings or 7 innings, however far he could have gone. But now you can actually pitch him against Minnesota this weekend.
Yeah.
Same thing with Sawyer Gipson-Long. Look, one of those guys totally could end up back in the rotation. And to your point, I think Melton is kind of pitching away.
Front runner too, yeah.
He's earned that spot. But again, I think they might try to do this situationally throughout the rest of the season. Like, hey, you're going to start here, but we're going to need you to come out of the bullpen later on this week. I'm not opposed to that because, again, he's kind of this wild card in terms of you don't really know what you're getting, not in a bad way, but in a way that's like we don't know how to best use him to help the 25 Tigers win right now. Long term, yeah, he's a starter. But how do we help? How does he fit into the puzzle piece to try to get this team to a World Series? I think that's still TBD. And yesterday, with him doing kind of a long-form, open, short-term start, it's still kind of leaving the door open TBD because he showed some signs that, yeah, leave me out here. I can go 5 or 6 innings. But having that sort of weapon out of the bullpen is also somewhat ideal because you don't want to end up putting a Holton or Montero in the game. And then bringing up another guy that kind of fits that bill too in Sawyer Gipson-Long. I think A.J. Hinch is going to use the next month to kind of figure these puzzle pieces out to see what fits best. And I think that's probably the way to do it right now. I don't have an answer, right? I totally see both sides of the argument in terms of what to do with Troy Melton. Because on one hand, you want him to go far and pitch 6 or 7 innings if he's able to do it. On the other hand, when a Casey Mize has a bad start, he's a much better option to come in relief in the 4th inning than a Rafael Montero, who will almost definitely blow the game for the Tigers. So right. I see both sides. I think it's up to A.J. Hinch to figure this out and kind of test a bunch of things out with him and Gipson-Long for the next month.
Well, and I think it gives them this option of like what they did yesterday. Like, it's not like the Tigers are a starting pitcher short at the moment. They have 5 guys in the rotation. They just wanted to add an extra day to the rotation, essentially, to give everyone an extra day of rest with all these, they don't have a day off for another week like we've talked about. So it gives them the option to, hey, if we can go 3 days in a row without Melton pitching, let's just add him into the rotation as the 6th guy just so we can give everyone else another day of rest. It gives them the ability to do that. And I think the simple answer as to why they are doing it this way, as far as Melton being in the bullpen over some of those other vets, it's just a lot easier to put the rookie in the bullpen than it is a guy with an ego as a veteran would be. Not saying those guys are like going to be super upset if they get put to the bullpen, but imagine how that conversation goes. You know, to guys that are 8 to 10-year vets in the league. Charlie Morton, who's a 15-year vet in the league. Like, hey, we need you to go to the bullpen for over this rookie that has started 3 games in his career. You know, it's a much easier thing to do from a management standpoint.
Well, also, how do you sell that to Chris Ilitch?
Yeah,
hey,
totally.
The guy making $25 million, we're actually going to put him
exactly.
in the pen
I mean,
right
how
now.
does that?
It doesn't work.
And not to defend Chris Ilitch, but like, what message does that send to him as far as the guy he pays? Like, oh, I've paid a couple of these guys, and you're just going to take the. It's. I mean, obviously the results are the results, you know, but it's not a good message sending to him. Like, oh, this guy was the biggest contract I've given out in the last 2 or 3 years, and now he's coming out of the bullpen. You know, I didn't pay him to come out of the bullpen. I might as well pay no one.
Yeah, that to me is the bigger selling point than the egos, because I think the Tigers have, and the egos I think exist on 29 other teams. The Tigers have somehow figured out a way, and I think this is an AJ Hinch thing, and a combination of Hinch being a veteran manager, being a World Series winning manager, combined with this young Tigers team that has just a complete buy-in that everyone is okay with. Hey, if you need to platoon me today, so be it. Colt Keith, already been paid, still being platooned to this day. Like, scary guy to bet on because odds are he's going to get pinch hit at some point. Kerry Carpenter, on the surface, has one of the best OPSs in baseball, going to get pinch hit. Like, it's not up for debate. And I think AJ Hinch has made that such a normality with this Tigers team that all the egos have kind of been put aside. Even a Riley Green, who's struggled so much over the past 2 months and maybe is turning a corner or in the middle of turning a corner, you don't see him like sulking or complaining or freaking out or raging in the dugout like you do in a lot of other clubhouses when stars aren't really having their best stretch. Like, everyone on this team is bought in and just wants to help this Tigers team win. And I don't think bringing someone like, yes, it's a bad look to ask Jack Flaherty, hey, come out of the bullpen, even though I think I would have done it by now if I was AJ Hinch. But to me, it's the Chris Ilitch thing. Like, that's the reason that you can't ask one of these starters to go to the bullpen to justify giving Flaherty $25 million. He's going to have to be the starter. And if he's not good enough, well, then he's just not good enough.
And it just is how it works in sports, you know, like as much as like the skill and talent obviously matters a ton and the stats and results, like the dollar amount that you make really does matter as far as prioritizing who to play. That's just how it has always worked in all sports, you know. If you're getting paid more, you'll probably have a better chance of playing than the guy who isn't.
Yeah. Again, a 1-0 win. Offense has kind of been shaky the last week or so.
Yeah, I would say even that whole 3 games against Chicago. I mean, they put up 4 runs at the end of the game when they're already losing by a ton. Like, didn't really matter, you know, in that second game.
Thank you, Colt Keith, for the 3-run bomb. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see if they can turn this thing around. And another at-bat to this lineup would be helpful right now because Javi's kind of having a slump right now. McKinstry's not as hot as he was. And the guy who's really taken a turn for the worse over the last month is Gleyber Torres. And I want to get into a Gleyber Torres thing a little bit later on in the 11 o'clock hour because, well, he's set to be a free agent. And, you know, based on the way the first half of the season went, you could argue he was about to become arguably the first or second highest paid second baseman across Major League Baseball. But if he's going to finish the season the same way that he's played in the last month of the season, well, then we're going to have to change our thinking on what the Gleyber Torres priority is in terms of Scott Harris bringing him back. 989-837-6125. Hey, we were talking about mowing lawns earlier. Yeah, your dream lawn, Cervinsky sod can literally roll that out. Locally grown, top quality sod that turns patchy yards into backyard showstoppers. And they've been doing it for over 50 years. They are experts. Whether you're fixing a rough spot or redoing the whole yard, Cervinsky delivers lush green perfection. Fast, friendly, and farm fresh because your grass should be greener right now. Don't settle for Increase the value of your home and get the lawn your neighbors will envy with Cervinsky sod. This is Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. Kyle, we are one singular subscriber away from 300 on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, come on. What are you doing? If you like this show at all, just go to YouTube and hit the subscribe button and be our 300th subscriber. Yeah, I don't want to sit here and beg you to do it, but we'd appreciate it. So 989-837-6125. Just search 100.9 The Mitt or The Ben Bosscher Show wherever or on YouTube to get that pulled up. We're going to take a trip around the league when we come back, and it's going to be fun. All right, 989-837-6125. It's The Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
I'm Sarah Stockford, host of 100.9 The Mitt Success Suite, a podcast highlighting the most inspiring female leaders across the Great Lakes Bay region. This month, we spoke with Allie Huntoon, the director and founder of Allied HR Solutions and Allied Group Fitness.
Lean on people I trust to help me get through things too. If I know that I'm overwhelmed or I need support with something, I usually try to reach out. Sometimes I'm still trying to do things all myself, and that's a learning curve too. Delegation is your friend. I'm learning that.
That's something I definitely need to learn.
So I think it's leaning on your team. I think it's putting things into perspective. Even though HR is very important and we have things all the time that come up with terminations or discrimination or harassment.
Listen to the full interview with Allie on YouTube on 100.9 The Mitt. Subscribe and hit the notification button to be alerted when new episodes drop. That's Success Suite with Sarah Stockford. The new rebranded Matt Smith Modern Realty.
Well, Matt Smith Outdoors was really reflective of how I started my real estate journey, taking my outdoor experience, moving that into the real estate space to help people buy and sell land. So many people in this region ended up calling me and wanting me to work with them to help them buy and sell homes. This new brand was more reflective of what I'm delivering to people in this region every day.
Celebrate the 75th anniversary of a Peanuts Christmas with the Great Lakes Loons on Friday, August 29th. Relive the heartwarming classic in a festive atmosphere filled with nostalgia and holiday cheer. The team will also wear Peanuts-inspired jerseys that fans can bid on during a live online auction. For tickets, head to loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team.
Hey, I'm Ben Bosscher.
And I'm Kyle Sandel.
And the two of us are live every weekday on 100.9 The Mitt at 9 a.m. until noon, giving you opinions on the teams that you care about the most.
The Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons, those teams.
And a whole lot more. Whether we're breaking down a game from the night before, debating the biggest news from the day, or doing a draft or spread picks, we're always having fun. I mean, come on, it's our job to talk about sports. How could we not be having fun?
So if the big games aren't enough for you, if you're a real diehard fan, this show is going to be perfect for you. You can count on us to be your morning sports outlet every day.
The Ben Bosscher Show with Ben Bosscher and Kyle Sandel on 100.9 The Mitt.
We're in your town, your school, your huddle. 100.9 The Mitt is here for sports fans in the Great Lakes Bay region. From the hardwoods of Saginaw to Midland's Friday Night Lights. From the streets of Bay City to Freeland, Frankenmuth, and Hemlock. We roll through Beaverton, Auburn, Pinconning, Essexville, and Shepherd. All the way to Gladwin, Birch Run, Coleman, and Bridgeport. This is your sports station. High school, college, NFL, the Loons. It's all right here. 100.9 The Mitt, Mid-Michigan sports leader.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
989-837-6125. We're only a few weeks away from football starting off, so there's a lot of variables, right? What's a team's ceiling? What's a team's floor? What's the X factor that'll determine where they're headed? Let's take a trip around the league.
It's time to zoom out and go around the league.
Oh, by the way, thank you for those who subscribed during the break. We have surpassed 300 subscribers. The road to 400 starts now.
Yep, exactly. Thank you to everyone that subscribed.
All right, Kyle, what do you got for us?
Okay, so like you said, we're talking about some NFL teams with their X factors this season. And the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to give you the ceiling and the floor of these teams based on this ESPN article, giving the ceiling and floor of each team. And you got to give me the X factor as far as what determines whether this team hits their ceiling or floor.
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
Sounds like an amazing plan.
Let's start off with a team that has been talked about a lot lately. We're not starting with the Lions. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys first, huh? Because they're all over the place. They made the playoffs 2-3 years in a row, and then last year everything kind of falls apart via Dak injury. Maybe they'll be back this year. Who knows? Their ceiling, according to ESPN, is 11-6, and their floor is 5-12. A lot of variance there. What's the X factor?
I mean, the obvious one is, does Micah Parsons play? Is Micah Parsons a Cowboy? I think the answer to that's definitely going to be yes. But hey, we've seen this happen before. Emmitt Smith held out because he wanted a new contract. Jerry Jones wouldn't give it to him, and he missed the first 2 games of the season. I don't think this team is a very good defense without Micah Parsons on the field. So ideally, they get this done early, or maybe Jerry Jones is just kind of like so addicted to the limelight that we're going to actually have a legitimate holdout, and Micah Parsons is going to sit, and then he's going to steal all the headlines right after week 1, and he comes back.
Right.
That's got to be the X factor. What did they list it?
They have it as Brian Schottenheimer as their new head coach being the X factor.
Yeah.
Is he really contributing that much to the win-loss? Like
it is
6-win
funny.
difference?
It is funny that you have all this going on, and the owner, like, there's a new head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, and no one cares because the Micah thing's going on.
And no one
Everyone's
knows
wondering
who
if
he
Dak
is,
is healthy.
you know?
I think Jerry did this on purpose, though. Hired someone that doesn't really have an ego, doesn't have a resume, so he can push him around.
So Jerry can be the coach. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Jerry can be the star. It's what Jerry does best.
All right, let's move on to the Detroit Lions. This is an interesting one, Ben. Ceiling is 12-5, and their floor is 7-10. Man, I don't think there's a world where the Lions go 7-10.
It'd have to be like a pretty tragic injury, but
It happened last year.
Yeah, I know.
12-5 is the ceiling. That's the best case scenario.
No, that's
come on, man.
It's ridiculous. The X factor for me. I mean, I'm trying to think of something else, but it really just is going to be the interior offensive line. Tate Rallage was awesome in that first preseason game that he played in. He looked great again at at the joint practice. Dan Campbell just said at his press conference within the last 20 minutes that he looked like a starting NFL guard. Between him and Mahogany and what Glasgow looks like at center by week 18, I'm not worried about him week 1, but I'm more worried about him week 18 and how deteriorated he is, because by the time we got to playoffs last year, he was really bad. Look, I'm trying to think of something else, but it's just the interior offensive line. It has to be the interior offensive line.
Yeah. They go with the new coordinators as the biggest X factor, which
that's fine.
I think that's fair. Okay, let's move on to another NFC North team, the Chicago Bears. You can flip their ceiling and floor because their ceiling is 11-6 and their floor is 6-11. Kind of a high floor for a team that's been their record the last 4 years.
I don't want to just fall into the trap of saying quarterback for every single one of these. Like, what does the quarterback look like? But come on, this does come down to Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson growing a chemistry, and having Caleb Williams' freestyle offense and his ability to go off script combined with Ben Johnson's on script and script writing ability for a play caller. Can those things mesh? That's the X factor for the Bears this season.
Yeah, they go with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson's offense.
Yeah.
So it totally makes sense. I mean, especially with everything we've seen so far in training camp, that has been 1,000 times the X factor now up to this point.
It's just been glorified and magnified to the point where he's going to be under a microscope week 1. They've got a primetime game week 1, by the way. NFC North showdown Monday night between the Bears and Vikings. Oh, man. That's going to be so fun for the storylines. The NFL memes account or the Ghetto Gronk account on Instagram?
Yeah.
Just the most funny stuff you'll see regarding NFL memes. That is going to be a field day, that game, because one of those quarterbacks is going to look bad. It's week 1. They're both essentially, Caleb Williams is not a rookie, neither is JJ, but Caleb has the new head coach, so it's like a restart on his rookie year. JJ, it's his first game. I can't wait for that.
Yeah,
the Sunday and Monday night games, week 1, are just.
I know.
Come
Those
on,
Ravens, week 1.
They're
What
do we do to
spoiling
deserve
us
that?
for real, dude. That's like a week 3, week 4 matchup. Okay, let's keep going with these NFC North teams. The Green Bay Packers, similar ceiling to the Lions at 12-5, even though everyone seems to love the Packers this year, and their floor is 6-11.
It's got to be development. And I don't even want to narrow it down to a specific group of players or a specific group, but they need multiple guys to step up. I guess if I'm going to do it, Matthew Golden's got to be like a blue chip guy.
Okay.
We've had all these receivers come in and be immediate impact year one guys, whether that was Neighbors, whether that was Brian Thomas Jr. last season, whether that was Jamar Chase as a rookie. It feels like that is the easiest position to come in and dominate as a rookie. We need to see something like that from Matthew Golden for me to change my mind on the Packers being a B-plus team that's good, not great. That would be how the team really takes another leap forward, is Matthew Golden's awesome.
They did basically what you said at the beginning, but flipped it to the defensive side. It's the development through the defense of Jeff Hafley, their DC, because they were fifth in the offense or fifth in the NFL in total defense, seventh against the run, and sixth against the pass. And they didn't really add anyone on their defense via free agency. So it's just, can their defense get better internally?
Sure.
Is where they go with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
We'll end things off with the NFC North teams, and then we'll skip around the league to some other teams. With the Minnesota Vikings, same exact ceiling and floor of the Chicago Bears. Ceiling of an 11-6.
Oh, I don't know.
Floor
man.
of 6-11. Look,
I think there's a world where they hit over 11 wins.
So ESPN is saying none of the teams in the NFC North can win 13 games, is what they're saying.
Which is insane.
That is insane.
The Lions can most certainly win 13 games.
I think the Vikings could too.
Again, I don't want to fall into the trap of quarterbacks, but come on, this is maybe the biggest X factor for any team across the league. Is what on earth are you getting from J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah, that's the answer. They don't go with it. I don't know why. They went with the run game with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason being their backfield. Like, can that be a better running backfield? Because they're 25th in the NFL last year in run plays.
They're overthinking this. They had
It's J.J. McCarthy, dude. Obviously, it's J.J. McCarthy.
14 wins last year, and then they drafted a quarterback, and he's sat all of last year, and now he's taking over. That is the X factor this season.
Yeah, I would say so.
Run game.
Let's skip it out to the NFC West, huh? The San Francisco 49ers, who obviously were much worse last season due to a ton of injuries than the year before. Their ceiling is 12-5. Man, these ceilings are just like...
It's just rinse and repeat.
It's just not that high. Like, why has there not been a 13-win ceiling, a 14-win ceiling? Floor is 7-10. While you say this one, I'm going to, try to find one of these higher ceilings.
The X factor for the 49ers. When does Brandon Ayuk come back, and what sort of player is he? Do you get a real wide receiver one alpha guy back into your lineup, or is Ricky Pearsall your number one receiver? And if that's the case, I wouldn't feel great about this offense still being like a top 10 unit. I mean, you got one of the best play callers in football, who's one of the best scheme writers, really great at coming out of halftime, scoring a touchdown. Really good at first drive of the game, scripting a touchdown. But if you don't have the playmakers, you don't have the playmakers. I guess the other one would be CMC. Like, what sort of version of CMC are you getting? I don't think it's going to be the 2023 CMC that was ungodly. I don't think it's going to be a guy who barely plays. Some sort of combination or middle ground there, but you got to be closer to the 2023 one for you to hit that ceiling. So I'll go with both Brandon Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey. What are you getting from those guys?
They switched it up to the youth movement because they moved on from 20 players from last year's team via free agency, release, or trade, and there's just a ton more young guys in starting spots for them this year than there has been in years past. So that's what they decided to go with. There's only 4 teams, by the way, that have a 13-win ceiling, 0 with a 14 wins. So no teams are going to win 14 games this year.
3 teams did it last year?
Right. Pretty good stuff here from ESPN.com. Let's move over to the AFC and a team that's been talked about probably more than any other team this entire offseason. The Pittsburgh Steelers with a ceiling of 11-6 and a floor of 6-11.
Is TJ Watt a depoy, or is TJ Watt regressing and on the downward slope of his career would be my X factor. A little bit less of a year last year. The pass rush win rate was a little down. Came through timely in the fourth quarter. That's kind of been TJ Watt's story of his career, but wasn't the same caliber player as he once was when he was winning depoys. So what version of him are you getting?
Yeah. They go with the offensive line, being that they kind of addressed every other position group this offseason except for the O-line. A lot of young guys on that O-line as well. So that's what they decided to run with. Let's close things out, man, with, is this your second favorite team? The Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't know if I have a second favorite team. I have a favorite non-Lion player.
Maybe, yeah, player. Yeah, we'll go with that. Their ceiling is 13-4 and a floor of 8-9. You got anything?
I think this. No, I don't. You know what? I don't. This team's going to win 13 games.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. No matter what the even if this X factor isn't good, like, it doesn't matter.
They have Patrick Mahomes,
right?
What?
Honestly,
what'd you say their floor was?
8-9.
That's laughable.
Yeah, I mean,
this team has Patrick
unless
Mahomes.
All their floors are like if their quarterback gets hurt, which if we're doing that, then that's just kind of a ridiculous exercise.
I know that's not the point of this around the league to say there is no X factor, but come on, they have Patrick Mahomes. I'd say the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Josh. Well, I guess it's different with Josh Allen and Lamar. The X factor is just like, can you beat Mahomes? But with Kansas City, come on, man, they're not going to go 8-9. There's a double-digit win team every year. Mahomes is playing for the Chiefs, so I don't have an X factor for them. They're going to be awesome. It's as simple as that.
I like that answer, honestly. I'm cool with that. That's going to end around the league.
What was their answer, though?
They went with their rookie left tackle, Josh Simmons.
Totally valid
Which
answer.
obviously they switched things up on the O-line over there.
989-837-6125. I've been teasing you about a Gleyber Torres conversation because, well, he's in a little bit of a slump. So we are going to discuss that when we come back. If you're heading out of town at any point this weekend, last-minute trips this summer, long weekends, enjoy. You got to, before you leave, give your car the glow-up it deserves at Tommy's Express Car Wash. Fast, friendly, and freakishly good at cleaning. Roll in dirty, roll out sparkling. It is, in fact, that easy. High-tech wash tunnels, eco-friendly soaps, and a ride that looks showroom fresh in just a couple of minutes. Sign up for their Unlimited Club and wash as often as you want. It is a steal of a deal because clean cars just drive better, and everybody knows that. No appointments, no nonsense, just clean, quick, and kind of addictive. Tommy's Express Car Wash because your car called, and it's begging for this. Locations in Midland, Saginaw, and Flint. 989-837-6125. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on a Thursday, 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Isaiah, let's play some word association.
I'm ready.
Spring.
Repairs.
Wind.
Roofing.
Rain.
Gutters.
Leak.
Buckley Satin Repair.
Who do you call?
Ghostbusters.
No, son. Who do you call?
Buckley Satin Repair.
That's right. Don't wait until spring. Call me, Derek Bresky, at Bresky Siding and Building Repair today for all your roofing and gutter needs.
At Aird Insurance Group, they're more than just policies. They're your trusted partners in protecting what matters most.
Whether it's auto, home, life, or business insurance, their team takes the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage for your unique situation.
With personalized service and unbeatable rates, Aird Insurance Group makes protecting your future easy.
Call Aird Insurance Group today and see why their clients trust them to keep them covered.
Aird Insurance Group.
The experience matters.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace Hardware and Sports in downtown Midland has some extra savings for rewards members this month. Let's clean up that yard. Save $3 instantly on select Roundup and Ortho weed killers. Save $10 on 64-ounce spruce, weed, and grass killer. You know what season it is? Grilling season. Free assembly and delivery on grills, $399 and up from brands like Weber and Traeger. Need that deck touched up? Do it and save $10 instantly on a gallon of Cabot exterior stain.
Hey, sports fans, heading up north? Whether you're gearing up for the big game, hosting friends, or winding down after a long day, Hops and Schnapps is your ultimate beverage destination. With one of the largest selections of beer, wine, and spirits in Michigan featuring over 1,000 options from around the globe, we're your beverage experts. Plus, our friendly team is here to help you find the perfect pick. Visit us in Standish, Grayling, and Gaylord today. Hops and Schnapps, raise your glass, raise your spirits.
Now, wait a second, Sharon. So the Midland Area Community Foundation runs the Midland Area Santa House?
You bet we do.
And Midland Area River Days?
Absolutely.
Plus scholarships for students and grants for local nonprofits? That's like hitting the cycle and impacting our community.
Anyone can step up to the plate and help build community capital for as little as $5.
$5? That's the cost of a snack at the ballpark. How do I get in the game?
Just visit MidlandFoundation.org and make a gift to our community investment fund. Every dollar makes a difference.
Join the team. Give today at MidlandFoundation.org.
There are many ways to say Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra. You could say it with your show choir buddies at your high school reunion.
Miller Lite is more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
However you say it, it's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer per 12 fluid ounces. Miller Lite, 96 calories, 3.2 carbs. Michelob Ultra, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs. Taste test performed by Institute for Perception, February 2018.
Celebrate the 75th anniversary of a Peanuts Christmas with the Great Lakes Loons on Friday, August 29th. Relive the heartwarming classic in a festive atmosphere filled with nostalgia and holiday cheer. The team will also wear Peanuts-inspired jerseys that fans can bid on during a live online auction. For tickets, head to loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. You want sports takes? You want local voices that own the mic? Yeah. We've got them on Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. It kicks off at 6 a.m. with Anthony Bellino on Spin on Sports.
Rise and shine.
From 9 to noon, don't miss Michigan's newest sports show, The Ben Bosscher Show.
Hey, remember that.
At noon, you get America's smartest sports takes, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
I want Shador to play.
And at 3, the one and only Bill Simonson and The Huge Show. This is where real fans stay locked in. 100.9 The Mitt.
I'm Ben Bosscher, and here's what I think. I think the Detroit Lions are going to be worse this season, but still go 12-5 and win the NFC North. I think the Minnesota Vikings are the biggest threat to steal the NFC North from the Detroit Lions. I think we got to taper back our expectations for Bryce Underwood, with him being an 18-year-old freshman and all. I think the lack of aggression from Scott Harris at the MLB trade deadline is going to haunt the Tigers for years to come. And I think you should listen to the Ben Bosscher Show weekdays from 9 to noon on 100.9 The Mitt, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair, if you agree or disagree with anything I just said.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
(989-837-6125). It should be noted, though, before we get into this Gleyber Torres discussion, that Dan Campbell did just get done from his podium, and it turns out Sam LaPorta is dealing with a little bit of an injury and is going to be down for a little bit. Nothing major, apparently, but there is a little injury thing going on with Sam LaPorta. And the funny thing about LaPorta is, I mean, this is what we were kind of just saying off air. It takes so much to bring this guy down. Like, this isn't a guy that you can just wrap up and throw to the ground. Like, give him a little bump and he's going down. This is a guy you have to put every ounce of strength into bringing down onto the field. And this was the whole Megatron thing. And no, I'm not trying to compare LaPorta to Megatron, but it took every ounce of strength from every defender to bring this guy down. The only way you could do it is to throw yourself into him and give him one of the hardest hits you can possibly deliver to a receiver. Otherwise, you were not tackling him. That's kind of where I'm at with LaPorta. It's so hard to just one-on-one tackle this guy because of how big he is. I mean, we've had reports about, like, Brian Branch even struggling to bring this guy down, and obviously Brian Branch is one of the best tacklers and hard-hitting guys on this team. They're not going to lay each other out during practice. But it just takes so much, and he takes so much of a beating throughout the course of a season. There's probably a reason that he's, I don't want to say he's, like, always banged up, but he secretly is kind of always banged up. And I'm not knocking him for it, but I think there's just a general wear and tear that comes with playing the tight end position, and specifically how LaPorta plays and how physically imposing he is to a defense. It takes so much to bring him down that these hits build up over time, and you're already starting to see it. This is now 3 straight years where he's had some sort of injury, and with his rookie season, didn't happen till the end. Last year it was during training camp, and now he's dealing with another one in training camp. Again, it's not major. He'll be healthy by week 1, but it does feel like Sam LaPorta, just something to note. Not saying it's a concern, but usually dealing with something.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about this. The tight end position is just a very physically taxing position to play, especially for a guy that does the yak stuff that he does. So, yeah, not concerned about it by any means. I mean, he's also been a guy that has played through injury in the past. I mean, remember that playoff series playoff game 2 years ago?
Oh, so awesome.
Like, the dude was supposed to be out a month, and actually he never missed a single game, and it looked like a full version of himself in that game. So, yeah, I'm definitely not worried about this LaPorta injury. I'm happy to know that Dan Campbell told us about it, but if he's not worried about it, I'm not worried about it.
Sam LaPorta, maybe the most underrated player on this Lions team. I mean, he doesn't really get talked about as one of the 6-7 best players in the team. He doesn't get talked about as one of the top 5 players on this team, and I don't think he is. But at the same time, he's probably a top 5 player on every other team and every other roster in the NFL. He's one of these beasts, and To me, he's one of the 3 best tight ends in the NFL, undisputed at this point, but he's probably target number 3 or 4 on this team, especially if you take Gibbs into consideration too, which is just wild to me. Any other team would be happy to take him. I think if he wasn't playing with Amon-Ra and J-Mo and Gibbs and Montgomery for that matter, his numbers are off the charts. Like, he sacrifices probably more than any other player the raw statistics by the end of it, by the end of the season. I really think he's one of the 3 best tight ends. I think he has an argument that he's the most underrated player on the team, despite being a former Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I totally. I mean, that's the issue with this Tigers team. Not the issue, but like just the thing about this Tigers team with the amount of weapons. Like, if you include just skill position players in general, like LaPorta's maybe top 5, or like not maybe. He definitely is top 5, but like it's just he could be the number 1 or 2 on a lot of different teams as far as their weapons situation goes. So, yeah, hopefully he can get back to practice soon enough and be healthy for week 1.
As much as J-Mo gets the buzz and Gibbs gets thrown around as maybe the best running back in the league sooner rather than later, LaPorta's still the guy he trusts the most outside of St. Brown. I'm talking about Jared Goff. Like, Jared Goff trusts LaPorta more than anyone not named Amon-Ra St. Brown on a 3rd and short. He wants to get him to that target. It's a big target, and he's pretty hard to guard.
And
like,
I'm also interested to see
slow.
Like how John Morton utilizes Sam LaPorta this year, because we saw his role change a little bit from year 1 to year 2 under Ben Johnson. And there's just a lot of mouths to feed in this offense as well. And Sam LaPorta is the most egoless guy probably on this entire offense. So he doesn't care if he's not getting the football, if he's used more in a blocking role or just as a distraction down the short side of the field. But I'm excited to see how Morton utilizes LaPorta, because we know how big of a weapon he really is.
And he took a pretty big step from his rookie season to last year in his blocking abilities. And we don't have to sit here and like dissect his film on whether or not he's a good blocking tight end, but he was not good as a rookie. He was fine last year. If he can take that another step forward and then really become a little Gronkish in terms of just dominates both, like could be, well, Gronk is like in his own tier because he could have been a left tackle if he wanted to, but
he could have also played power forward if he wanted to.
Yeah. No, we'll never get another Gronk like that. Although Bowers is more of a Kelsey.
Yeah,
than
he's
a Gronk.
not really Gronky, yeah. But obviously he's elite.
LaPorta's more close to Gronk than Bowers is. Bowers is like Kelsey because he's like a wide receiver playing tight end.
Exactly.
Who can chip down once in a while, but yeah.
You got Kyle Pitts, who's like a mixture of both.
Are you drafting Kyle Pitts in your fantasy leagues this year?
Oh, dude.
Are you buying it? Are you doing it?
No, well, I might actually, because I have him in one of my dynasty leagues, and it's like he's like my tight end 3. I'm just like, dude, what? Like, I might as well hang on to him. He has 0 trade value at the moment. Like,
hang on to him. Michael Pitts is trying to, or Michael Penix is really, going golfing with them. He said, what the key to the offense is get Kyle Pitts the ball. This is the year, man. This is the year for Kyle Pitts.
It is, and honestly, if you're missing out, then get off the train, because I'm all in. I'm all aboard.
Say it seriously.
I'm all aboard the Kyle Pitts train right now.
Put your entire reputation on the line. This is the year he breaks out.
No, this is all jokes. I actually don't think Kyle Pitts is going to have a good year. The only way that Kyle Pitts becomes good is after this season, when he doesn't get an extension from Atlanta and he goes to another team.
I was going to say the only reason he becomes good is because Michael Pittman is, or why do I keep saying that? Michael Penix is awesome.
He can be awesome without throwing the ball to Kyle Pitts, though. That's the issue. Like, Kyle Pitts, I think, is just cursed in Atlanta. I think that franchise has just, ever since his rookie season, things just don't go his way. He just clearly is underutilized. Remember Jonnu Smith came in 2 years ago and was a more productive tight end than Kyle Pitts was?
Yeah, he at best, like, even if he hits a ceiling this season, is probably the 3rd option on that team, even in the passing game, with a running back being ahead of him.
And then you have Mooney even there, too, who's like a solid wide receiver, too. Like, Pitts would have to go to another team, which maybe if he does go to another team, then he could become good, but not with the Falcons.
There's got to be someone listening here like, wait, am I listening to Atlanta radio? How did this?
Hey, they played the Lions last week. It's a little relevant, right?
Kinda. Young team, NFC South team. I don't know. They could be a playoff team this year. I wouldn't be like if I was forced to pick 5 new teams to make the playoffs, Atlanta's probably one of those teams.
Yeah, I would say so too. I think they'll be good this year.
989-837-6125. All right, finally, the Gleyber Torres conversation. When we come back, it's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
It's time to remember that.
Do you remember?
with Kyle Sandel.
Presented by Matt Larson, farm bureau agent located downtown Midland. Wow, what a big 1-0 victory for the Tigers yesterday to take the series with the White Sox. There really is truly nothing like a 1-0 win. Those games always feel like the 2024 version of the Tigers, but you don't feel as confident in the games this time around. Like, you feel like the bullpen is going to at some point screw up. The bats didn't really ever show up, but it didn't matter because, hey, shocker, when you pitch guys that you know are actually good, you tend to win games. Troy Melton, who I've been advocating to be a starter for the rest of the season for the Tigers. Look, I know it makes sense for him to come out of the bullpen. I get that. But I just think the ceiling of Troy Melton is much higher than a lot of the guys currently in those 5 starting spots right now. But either way, he has a tremendous outing, going 5 innings, just giving up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 6 Ks. Only had 56 pitches. A lot of people wanted him to keep going, but I think the whole point of bringing Sawyer Gipson-Long up was for him to get multiple innings. So I'm cool with Melton going the 5. Especially when Sawyer Gipson-Long comes in, goes 2 innings, strikes out 2, once again, no walks, and just the 1 hit. And look, if you can get to the 7th inning without having to pitch any of those random middle reliever guys, you feel good about Finnegan and Vest. And those 2 shut it down. With the amount of bad bullpen pitchers on this Tigers team, it was refreshing to get a day not having to see any of those guys, and the pitching staff came to play, resulting in a win. Remember that. Presented by Matt Larson, farm bureau agent located downtown Midland.
Detours driving you bonkers? Ideal Party Store's got your back with a Detour discount. While the Lafayette Bridge is closed, enjoy 10% off select craft beer 6-packs and 10% off 4 bottles of select wine, 750 milliliters or more, with 2 great locations, 908 North Johnson on the east side and 401 Salzburg on the west side. Ideal Party Store makes every detour worth it. Serving Bay City since 1934, we're here to make you the life of the party.
At Scott Family Dental, we treat every patient like family because it's in our name. Our office culture is built on trust, comfort, and care, just like you'd want for your own loved ones. We don't sign contracts with insurance companies, so we can offer the highest quality dental care without compromise. That means your treatment is based on what's best for you, not an insurance plan. Scott Family Dental, compassionate care, lasting smiles.
Visit scottfamdental.com to schedule today.
Since 2007, the Michigan Baseball Foundation has invested over $1.8 million into our communities, supporting over 350 projects across 14 Michigan counties. From restoring Alma Little League fields to creating nature-based classrooms at the Chippewa Nature Center and enhancing accessibility at the middle of the Mitt Miracle Field, MBF is making a real difference. Every ticket to a Great Lakes Loons game helps fund these initiatives. Join us in building a stronger, more vibrant community. Learn more at MichiganBaseballFoundation.org.
At the Great Lakes Loons, our commitment to community goes beyond the ballpark. Through the Volunteer program, Loon staff and even players roll up their sleeves to serve the Great Lakes Bay region. From packing food boxes to reading in classrooms and even cleaning up local camps and parks, it's hands-on work that helps build a stronger, more connected community. Volunteer isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Because being part of this region means showing up when it counts. The Great Lakes Loons, serving the Great Lakes Bay region since 2007.
Celebrate the 75th anniversary of a Peanuts Christmas with the Great Lakes Loons on Friday, August 29th. Relive the heartwarming classic in a festive atmosphere filled with nostalgia and holiday cheer. The team will also wear Peanuts-inspired jerseys that fans can bid on during a live online auction. For tickets, head to loons.com. This isn't just baseball. This is the Great Lakes Loons, everyone's hometown team. Local sports don't stop when the game ends, and neither do we. 100.9 The Mitt is your digital home for the latest news across the state of Michigan. From high school to college and the pros, it's all on our socials. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mitt and join the squad. Stay locked in on the latest stats and stories with exclusive video takes from local talent. Sports Radio 100.9 The Mitt. From the hometown heroes to the college legends to the pros on Sunday, 100.9 The Mitt is your home for wall-to-wall play-by-play coverage. High school football, basketball, and hockey.
Region champions for the first time in school history.
Michigan State football and basketball.
Touchdown, MSU!
The NFL, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night primetime games. And don't think we forgot about your hometown team. The Great Lakes Loons.
That ball's over and out of here.
100.9 The Mitt.
If you served, we want you to get the health care and benefits you earned. We want you to come to VA.
There's never been a better time to apply. Under a new law called the PACT Act, we've expanded VA care and benefits to millions of people who served and their survivors.
No matter where you served or how long you served, check out va.gov/PACT to learn more about what VA can do for you and your family. Come to VA.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
Nine 837-6125. Kyle, you know how we have 2 traditions to close every show?
Yeah, I do know about that, actually.
I think we have 3 traditions on the show. The third being my computer inevitably dies at some point during the show. It's dead again.
Yeah, I mean, you and John, man, just have dead computers 24/7.
Well, I think it's how many
computer-
tabs I have open to run the show, and then if I don't plug it in, it's like
You just don't have it plugged in all the time, though?
Not well. It's plugged in pre-show, and then it's at 100%. Then by the time we get to 10:30, 10:40, whatever it is, it's usually like, yeah, you can't run this many things at once, and then expect to still.
You
be
could
live.
just like keep it plugged in the whole
No,
time
you're right.
too. You know,
Yeah, no, you're
like that's
right.
what I do every day.
Yeah,
I think
I get it.
I think my laptop has died. I've had this laptop I think for 5 years now. It's probably died less than 5 times.
Oh,
yeah.
so cool.
Okay, yep, my bad.
Gleyber Torres is in a little bit of a slump right now, Kyle. Over the past 30 games, just a 233 average, a 676 OPS, 24 Ks, and just 11 walks. Gleyber Torres has been one of the best players on this team throughout the course of the season. Specifically, that first half, he was kind of unbelievable. It felt like the Yankees were dumb for letting him walk, right? They didn't want him anymore, and that was fine. Gleyber Torres was pacing to become one of the highest paid second basemen across baseball. And in the last month, he's taken a significant step back. Not only the numbers have been bad, he's looked sluggish. He's looked a little slow. And if I'm Scott Harris, based on what I've seen the last month, I'd be a little bit hesitant to sign him up for a 5 or 6 year deal. And that's probably what he's going to be seeking this offseason. I think he has the rest of the season to kind of prove to Scott Harris and really any other GM across baseball, hey, I'm worth a long-term investment. I'm only 28 years old. I'm not on the decline in my career. There's the Yankees made a mistake letting me walk. I'm not going to let another team make this mistake, because if it's back-to-back seasons that he lets a team decides we're all good, then what does that really say about Gleyber? Again, he's an all-star. His first half was incredible, but there's been a little bit of a slump, and it's been more than just like, hey, he hasn't been hitting the ball well. He's just looked off in terms of his physical well-being. Like, you saw him try to get to second in that White Sox series, and Riley hits it to the shortstop, and it should be most other players get to second base, so it ends up being an infield single, and Gleyber couldn't do it. Like, he's just kind of slow stepping around right now. I'm not concerned about it, but I'm just bringing this up. Gleyber Torres does have like another 2 months to really prove that why he needs to be re-signed long-term. I don't think he's going to be right now, just based on the investment they've already given Colt Keith and based on the history of paying position players from Chris Ilitch. But if he can really turn things around and play like he did in the first half, then the Tigers really should think about it. But right now, it's like kind of up in the air whether or not he's going to be a Tiger next year, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, I would agree. I also think that it's less of a Colt Keith being paid thing rather than Spencer Torkelson has worked out. I think that was kind of the main reason why I'm like, I don't think they're going to re-sign Torres, because if we want to take a trip back down memory lane back in April and March, Colt Keith was going to be the first baseman the entire season.
Yeah.
And Gleyber Torres was going to be the second baseman. And honestly, maybe going forward, Colt Keith was going to be the first baseman if they really had given up on Torkelson, which it was kind of leaning in that direction. Yeah.
I think they had.
And some injuries led to him making the roster and being the starting first baseman. And obviously, since then, we talked about it earlier this week, probably been the most consistent hitter on this Tigers team the entire season, which has been obviously such a great story. But it leads to me thinking Gleyber Torres won't be re-signed because, well, you got Colt Keith committed long-term on this 6-year deal. Gleyber Torres becoming a free agent, what are you going to do with Colt Keith then? Just keep him in this like weird third base / DH / kind of will play first base and Torque will DH sometimes, like, role. You don't really extend a guy like that to be he's not a utility guy because obviously he's more of a bat than a defensive player, but you want that guy to be an everyday guy at a certain spot for the next 6 years instead of hopping around all over the place. This is more of a 1-year thing. So to me, I would be really surprised if they brought back Gleyber Torres. It just depends on what other teams are willing to pay. Like you said, Gleyber signed this 1-year deal with Detroit so he could come here, have a good season, and then go get a long-term bag. Once again, though, we continue to talk about how the Tigers don't pay a ton of people in the offseason, long-term deals. We don't know how they pay their own guys. We have yet to see them given an opportunity to extend players that are going to hit free agency and potentially get big contracts from someone else. So I don't know if that means that like Gleyber Torres actually has a chance to come back or not, but just from a logical standpoint of where is his spot on this team going forward, I would be pretty surprised if they paid Gleyber Torres, despite how good he's been. And, you know, the slump, like you said, has been kind of rough. I mean, even if you just go back to the start of that Minnesota series, the last 3 series, he's got twice as many strikeouts as walks, a 390 OPS, and just a 129 batting average.
Yikes.
It's been, you know, that's obviously it's a shorter sample size, but still, that's not the Gleyber Torres we're used to. So hopefully he can get out of it soon. But like I said, I think this will be the lone year for him in the Old English D.
He's already the third highest paid second baseman in Major League Baseball. So if they were to just give him the exact same amount of per year value, like AAV, and then just increase the number of years on the contract, that's probably like the right price. It's just a matter of, do you want to sign up for this? If there's already, you know, over the course of the last month, some signs of like, you look a little older than 28 years old. I think between, you're right, the Spencer Torkelson thing, the Colt Keith thing, and the fact that you've got Kevin McGonigal coming up, not that Kevin McGonigal plays second base, but
middle infield
guy. It just kind of seems like they're going to moneyball their way through this thing and let him walk and try to sign the next Gleyber Torres. And what I mean by that is they're going to sign the next guy that one team didn't like him, and they're going to buy low on him and 1-year deal, come help the team. And if they can hit on that, that's great, but it's also not a guarantee. So I'm going to lean no right now. I'm going to say there's a 2/3 chance that Gleyber Torres is playing for a different ball club next season.
What's the result that he does get re-signed? Like, what would happen for you to think that he is going to get re-signed?
Incredible postseason.
See, I almost think it's the opposite. What if he just continues to slump, and then he doesn't have any value in free agency as far as getting a long-term deal? And it's like, well, I might as well just come back to the Tigers on another 1-year deal and try to do it again next year. I don't think he could do so bad where no team would want him long term.
No, obviously.
Right.
But
you're probably right though. I mean, if he goes off in the postseason, like it would be detrimental to lose that guy, right?
Yeah, then we like middle finger the hell out of Scott Harris
right.
if he doesn't bring him back. And it's like, okay, man, we're trying to like, if he's awesome in the postseason,
but it's still
and you've got one more year of Tarek Skubal, then pay him.
Right.
What are you thinking? Like, what is the It'd be like if I said trade J-Mo right now. It's like, I don't know if the Tigers can pay J-Mo long term, but they're not just going to trade him right now. They're trying to win a Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to pay Skubal long term. I don't know if they're going to pay Gleyber long term. But I mean, if he pops off for you and you get close to the World Series, you got to bring him back. You're gunning for this thing right now. You have to bring him back.
I was surprised by, I'm in like one of the Tigers Twitter spaces, and I was surprised by the amount of people that are kind of out on Gleyber Torres being here long term. Because I just kind of thought that everyone was like, yeah, I really hope we can re-sign him. I just don't think it's going to happen. No, I think people actually like, at least from what I saw in that, they don't really want to bring back Gleyber Torres long-term. Now, maybe it's recency bias because the way he's been playing, but I don't know. I mean, he's just been, like you said, just a consistent guy all season. Been at the top of this order, plays every day basically. Maybe this injury that he dealt with in that Minnesota series is kind of lingering over a little bit. I know it's like not a lower body thing, so it shouldn't be affecting his sluggishness like you talked about, but I don't know. I think, like you said, it's going to be interesting to see the remainder of the season for Gleyber Torres to see kind of how they evaluate him in free agency.
I've got a half-baked idea. For guys like this who are just kind of like going through this, like, you know, it's a long season, 162 games. Rather than an off day, give this guy an off series. Like, what if once a year in Major League Baseball you could just put someone on the 3-day IL? Or the 3-day RL, the rest list, and they just take the series off.
You
get
can
an
just
extra.
do that, but you just don't get the extra roster spot.
But what if once a year you could put everyone has one RL stint a year where you can take them off the roster, and this is only for like vets, I guess, I mean, you're not going to put like a judge on it because you need him. But like a guy like Gleyber was like, yeah, you're clearly like going through some stuff right now. We're going to put you on the RL 3 days, get an extra roster spot. Just go get healthy again. Half-baked idea?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Good?
Why not?
Bad?
Yeah,
Better than just an off
see,
day.
I don't see any harm in it. It gives everyone more opportunity, and obviously it helps the guys rest up, so I don't mind it.
It's better than just like, hey, here's one off day, in
Right.
162. And then it's like, well, you may as well just be out there if it's 1 day. Like, cool, I got 1 day off. No, take 3 days off. Go home, see your family. Rest. You don't have to be here. There's a half-baked idea for you. 989-837-6125. Hey, I don't know if you heard the open, but we talked about Amon-Ra St. Brown absolutely dominating this Miami Dolphins team, and really everyone in this Lions team dominating the Dolphins as the joint practice went underway yesterday. They play another preseason game against Miami this Saturday. They'll have one more joint practice between now and then. Sam LaPorta a little banged up. We found that out at the press conference this morning from Campbell. I want to rehash that conversation about St. Brown and LaPorta when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show on a Thursday.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
WLUN, Pinconning Bay City, Saginaw, Midland.
Nine 837-6125. Welcome back in. It's the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. In case you missed it, Amon-Ra St. Brown, man, dominated this Dolphins defense throughout the course of their joint practice yesterday. Lions put out a video of all I don't know if it was every catch, but they had 11 catches in the video of him just torching the Dolphins secondary, which, to be fair, is not one of the better secondaries in the NFL. Arguably one of the worst. But it's just a nice little reminder of, hey, the Lions do have one of these alpha receivers in the NFL. They have one of the best guys. I said earlier in the show, he's the 5th best receiver in the NFL, which seems a little low until you actually start counting out the guys. Whatever, give or take, he is a top 5 receiver in the NFL. They've got a top 5 right tackle in the NFL who's closer to 1. They've got a top 5 edge rusher in the NFL in Aiden Hutchinson. They've got a top 5 tight end in the NFL. They've got a top 10 safety, top 5 running back in the NFL. They've got 2 top 10 safeties in the NFL. This is a completely loaded roster, and the fact that they shared a practice facility with Miami yesterday, and every reporter from the Lions to the Dolphins guys just saying this is the most lopsided practice I've ever seen. It's just a nice, fresh little reminder that this Lions team is elite. And I actually, I've been telling you guys 12-5 is what I think is going to happen, but I actually went through the schedule again now that we're a few weeks into post camp and doing a little bit of homework on all these other teams. You want me to run through it, Kyle?
Let's hear it.
I've got the Lions starting out with a win in Green Bay. I've got a win in Chicago. I've got a loss at Baltimore. I've got a win in Cleveland, a win in Kansas City. A win in Cincinnati, and then a loss in Kansas City. A win versus Tampa Bay, which at the bye would put them at 5-2. I've got a win now in versus Minnesota and a win versus Washington. Those are both flipped. I've got a loss at Philly. And then a ton of wins in a row. Giants, Green Bay, Dallas, the Rams, Pittsburgh, a loss to Minnesota on the road, week 17, and then a win in Chicago.
Oh, on Christmas they're losing?
Yeah. I had that as a win originally and a loss to Chicago. There's like 4 games that I flipped. I flipped the Minnesota games. I originally had the home game as a loss, the away game as a win. I flipped those because I just don't think the Lions are going to lose after the bye. I flipped the Washington game from a loss to a win because they're dealing with a lot of stuff right now. And if you pull the hood up on the car, Washington's actually not as good as you think they are. And then I originally had the Chicago game as a loss, week 18, because I thought it'd be meaningless. But if they're going into that 12-4, I think that'll definitely be meaningful in terms of the 1-seed implications. So I had them 12-5. Now I have them 13-4 with a couple of different wins, with one win added to it and a couple wins flipped in terms of the wins and losses in the division record. So we said the floors and ceilings earlier from that article. I think the Lions are going 13-4. This was just a nice little reminder, and I'm not doing this because they won, dominated the joint practice yesterday, but I thought it'd be a good exercise of just, hey, now where are you? Now that we're closer to the season, you know a little bit more about every team. I no longer think they're splitting with Chicago. I just don't think Chicago's up to par with the Lions in terms of the roster. And then I flipped the Minnesota games because I don't think they're going to lose after the bye. And I gave them an extra win versus Washington as well. Because, again, not as great as a team on paper as one might think.
I almost think it's becoming like the trend to be, I'm out on the Lions this year guy.
The schedule's brutal.
Right. I've been watching a lot of prediction videos just to see what people, different people that I respect as far as podcasts I listen to and NFL media people. A large majority of them think that they're like the first guy to be like, I don't know about the Lions this year. It's like, okay, now it's almost becoming a trend for everyone to do that. And I understand the points. A lot of it comes down to not even just the schedule, but with the new coordinators and that both of them came from in-house. And we saw this with the Eagles a couple years ago, and it didn't work out for them. I mean, they were still a good team, but it just kind of fumbled at the end of the season. But I don't know. Stuff like yesterday happening, once again, I get it's a joint practice against a Dolphins team that is probably not going to be very good this year. You see stuff like that, and it just reminds you, like, man, the Lions are still really good, dude. Like, this team just has absolutely a crazy amount of weapons on offense, and it would take a disastrous type of thing to happen for them to not at least still be a top 10 offense, So I still think the Lions are going to be really good. I still think they're going to win this division. I'm not as high on some of the other teams in the division as other people are. And I'm with you. I think a 12-13 win season is like totally still absolutely in play.
13 wins probably gets you in the NFC North, especially considering I have them going 5-1 in the division.
Right.
Sweeping Green Bay, sweeping Chicago. I'm sorry, I just don't think Chicago's up to the level that the Lions are. Like, that's one game that the Lions have never had to get up for, and I think that's part of the reason that Chicago has played them close. Now there's a reason to get up for that game. And I think just in terms of talent, this side of the ball, that side of the ball, Lions clear. Same reason I think they're going to sweep Green Bay. Just don't think they're on the same level of talent. Minnesota, yeah, that's the team that is pretty close to the Lions, with the quarterback being the biggest difference there. I still have them losing to Philly on the road. I still have them losing to Kansas City and Baltimore on the road. But and honestly, if you said, hey, Ben, you got to pick one more loss, I'm probably picking Tampa at home. Like, that's just, Tampa's a tough team. It's one of the more underappreciated organizations in football. But 12-5, 13-4, that's totally on the table. That probably gets you at least in contention for one seed. I'm not saying it guarantees it. But if you're going into week 18, 12-5, or 12-4, you probably have a chance for the one seed on most years, right? Unless we have some miracle season like last year where the Lions are 15-2.
I think in the current NFL with the extra game added in, and with just how bad some of these teams are going to be this year, I think 14 wins is almost like a need to be the one seed.
Really?
I think so.
Which is a new trend.
You and I just talked about it. I mean, there was 3 teams last year that had 14 wins. It's just with the extra game, it gives more teams an opportunity to be even worse. And obviously, if there's more losses, that means there's more wins elsewhere. So for the top dogs, I think 14 wins is almost needed to get the one seed nowadays.
And if you're going to have the head-to-head loss versus Philly, then, okay, maybe you're not getting that one seed and you end up resting your starters versus Chicago, and you do go 12-5. No big deal.
Yeah, exactly, still. And like, I think John Aird said this yesterday, right, that you almost don't want to get the one seed this year.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
Well, but I mean, we saw how it worked out last year. It's like that isn't their goal this year, I guess, probably, right?
That's a better way to word it. I wouldn't say I don't want the one seed. I would still much rather
getting
have
the one seed isn't as important as it was last year, probably. Because last year you had the injury thing, and you actually had to play Week 18 when a lot of teams got to rest that week. So it made a lot more sense for them to really want to get that one seed. Whereas this year there isn't as much of an incentive to.
No, and it's also like they've already achieved it. Not to say they don't want to do it again, but it's
like you said. I mean,
it
it's
won't
still
be
a week off. Like, I mean, getting an advancement in the playoffs is an advancement either way. Like a bye is so big. So yeah, obviously you still want it, but not nearly as bad as you did last year.
I honestly think winning the division is more important than winning the conference, at least in the regular season wise. I care more about hanging another NFC North banner than I do the one seed. Hang a banner for winning the one seed.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's just, I think I'm with you on that. I mean, obviously, if you win the conference, you win the division, but
I'm just a banner-hanging guy, I just want as many banners hung in Ford Field as possible.
Right. Yeah, and I really also just want to get like a shirt, like a 3-peat NFC North shirt. I think that'd be pretty sick,
Because it's one thing to go back-to-back. To 3-peat in a division, then it's like, all right, who's your daddy? Then it starts to get into that territory. And to be able to say that to Packers fans, that'd be a dream
Who
come
have
true.
3-peated, yeah.
Many times.
Right.
But we live in the present. We don't live in the past. We don't reminisce.
So 5-1 versus the division, though, huh? In the most loaded division in the NFL, most people are saying.
It's what they did last year.
Yeah, but last year it wasn't as loaded, I don't think. Maybe it was. I think just because the people
I don't think Green Bay
is
better. I don't think Green Bay is better, and Minnesota's slightly worse.
People think that Green Bay and Chicago will be better this season, and Minnesota will take a slight regression.
Yeah, Chicago can take a big step forward, and they're still not even close to the level that the Lions are if you're just going roster for roster.
Fair. Nothing I can say to that. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I agree.
And that's
Ben Johnson would have to be a miracle worker.
Which, based on every clip I see in training camp, I don't know if that's necessarily
not a lot of miracles going on over there just yet.
989-837-6125. It was a nice little reminder that Amon-Ra St. Brown gave us that this Lions team is still dominant. I keep saying that word, but hey, that's kind of where it's at. Poor Dolphins fans, man. They probably see this like, we're going up to Detroit, we're going to have a joint practice, and then they're just reading all their beat reporter stuff of them just getting smashed in the mouth. And
so funny.
Yeah, we might finish last in the division this year. The hope for the Dolphins fan base, it feels like throughout the course of the offseason is just gone down and down and down and down and down.
They still play in probably the worst division. Well, I guess you can't call it the worst division because the Bills are there, but at least the 2 through 4 is just probably the worst in the league.
I think they finished third or fourth in the division.
But they could get second though. Still, it's not like it wouldn't shock anyone if they got second, you know?
What's more likely, they finish second in the division or Mike McDaniels is fired at some point this season?
Ooh, that's good. Probably Mike McDaniel gets fired, right? I don't know. He just kind of seems like he's on the hot seat just because. I will say, though, I just want to throw this out there. My favorite tweet from yesterday out of all the Lions reporters, like glazing the Lions basically the whole day, was this Miami Dolphins beat reporter saying, that boy Amon-Ra St. Brown is like that. He has straight up dominated Dolphins corners. Even worse, he's doing it really respectfully and with a smile.
That's good stuff.
Oh, that's good.
By the way, the Miami schedule starts out Indianapolis and New England. So, like, you kind of have to come through it. You can't go 0-2. You just can't.
That's a good point. I mean, that would be the way for him to get fired early, losing those first 2 games.
Well, he's not going to get fired after 2, but here's the thing. Then you play Buffalo.
Start. Yeah.
Then you play Buffalo and New York. So you play your entire division within the first 5 weeks of the season. Like, it'll be very telling where the team's going to finish, and it's a long season. But, like, if you're taking losses to everyone in your division right off the bat, I can probably start guessing who the first coach fired is going to be. Because then you've got a stretch before the bye where it's like Baltimore and Buffalo, and I'm not trying to bore, and Washington. I'm not trying to bore everyone with Dolphins radio, but I'm just saying watch out for him to be first coach fired this year. It's definitely on the table. 989-837-6125. We still need to jump into the Gleyber thing a little bit more. We're going to do that when we come back, and we're also going to tell you about Spherion. If you need to hire fast, let Spherion do the heavy lifting. Get your great candidates without the hassle. Their simple online hiring platform makes it easier than ever to find the right employees, and it's going to be fast. Post jobs, review applicants, and connect with top talent all from your phone or computer. Whether you're staffing short-term projects or building your dream team, Spherion has your back. Get back to running your business while Spherion handles the hiring headache. Hiring made simple, smart, and online. That is Spherion, and this is the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt. Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
I know I said the Gleyber Torres thing was coming up, but we've got some news on the Michigan Connor Stallion saga that never seems to end. Well, it turns out, I think tomorrow we've got an end day in sight, Kyle. It turns out that we are going to get the public information on what the punishment is going to be for the Wolverines tomorrow.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, we don't know when, we don't know what, but
look, I think the word Michigan scandal saga or whatever you said and end should not belong in the same sentence. There's no way this ends after tomorrow.
What do you think Michigan's going to once again just refute it? No, let this thing be done.
Well, no, but I'm just like this is something that will never end. Like this has been going on for so long. Like this is basically there's new coaches in different situations now for every team that's been involved. The Michigan athletic department has switched things around. Like there's just I don't see a world where this truly does end. But as far as the punishment becoming public tomorrow, that is what's going to happen. And maybe it does result in, if it isn't that bad, then Michigan's just going to, like you said, take it, and then there's nothing else coming from it. Who knows?
Pete Thamel says the NCAA has formally notified parties tied to the Michigan NCAA infractions, which definitely includes Central Michigan, case that an announcement of findings and punishments will be publicly released on Friday. Who takes a bigger punishment, Michigan or CMU?
Michigan, for sure.
Are we positive?
Yeah, I'm positive. I mean, one, it's also a brand new coaching staff at CMU as well, so it's hard to actually punish the team for that. But as far as, I mean, for Michigan, look.
No matter what, a punishment, even if the punishment is less severe for CMU, which I was joking, it will be, it's going to hurt CMU more.
Well, yeah, of course. Unless, like, Sharon Moore is suspended for the year or something.
There's no way that's happening.
I'm just saying, I mean, that would be a scenario where it hurts Michigan more, you know?
At this point, it would, like, kind of shock me if it was anything more than 4 games. If it was more than 4 games, I'd be pretty appalled.
I think I would be too, honestly.
And again, just to remind everyone, Michigan did the self-imposed 2-game suspension, thinking, all right.
That's also pending. That isn't like an in-lock thing. They kind of just did that just to try to get ahead of things.
Well, it's pending in a way that, like,
based on what happens
basically
tomorrow.
A negotiating tactic.
Exactly, yes.
Like, hey, we think it's worth 2 games. What do you think? Which actually might turn out to be a genius move by them.
Like, if Michigan doesn't even suspend anyone and they just do fines everywhere, then Michigan can just pull back that suspension that they gave on Sharon Moore.
Michigan was geniuses for doing that ahead of time. Because if the NCAA couldn't find anything.
On it. I thought you thought it was dumb.
I thought it was dumb that they did week 3 and 4 specifically. That's what I thought was dumb. Because they wanted, like,
trying to outsmart everyone, yeah.
Yeah, being like, we're going to do these games, which I thought was, I thought that part of it was ridiculous. You should have just done games 1 and 2. But, you got to go back to Oklahoma. If they only end up getting 2 or less, then they were smart for getting ahead of it. Because if they wouldn't have done anything, then I feel like the NCAA would have been like, well, let's do this instead. They kind of set the standard, and then maybe the NCAA could not find anything on Sharon Moore, which, I don't know, that's kind of where I'm believing it's going to fall right now.
Right.
There's not going to be any damning evidence on them.
I've seen some Michigan pages believe that the penalty is just going to be kind of what is already in place, which is the 2-game suspension to Sharon Moore, fines to Jim Harbaugh, fines to the university.
Fines to Jim Harbaugh? What kind of fines does Jim Harbaugh have to pay? He's not even a coach in college football anymore.
So, I mean, he was still a guy involved in the situation. Fines to Connor Stallions as well.
How can an organization fine a guy who's not involved? I don't think that's possible.
They weren't involved. What do you mean they weren't involved?
He's just going to be banned. That would be my guess.
Okay, then penalty to them, I guess. Maybe that's a better way of putting it.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible for them to fine him. Then they'd have to go to, like, a real court.
Yeah,
and the NCAA likes fake court more, where they just get to make up rules.
True. But I think that, like, that's best case scenario for Michigan, though, is Sharon Moore does just get this 2-game suspension and there's just fines. Because that's almost like you said, they were right. They got out ahead of it. They give this self-imposed suspension to try to mask what the actual true penalty could be. And it also means that the NCAA couldn't find anything else, right? Because if they're just giving them the suspension that Michigan self-imposed on themselves, that means there isn't any greater thing that they have found in their investigation to be like, it's not enough. We need to penalize you more for this, which would be a win for Michigan, and then they can rub it in the Michigan State fans' faces because hey, we didn't actually cheat as much as you thought. The Ohio State fans' faces, everyone that doubts the national championship. Like,
if you doubt the national championship, you're a loser.
Okay, but that's not what I was trying to say.
I know.
Okay.
I just wanted to get that out.
Sure.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was finished.
What are the odds this happens tomorrow at like 5 o'clock?
That would suck.
And then it's truly like a nothing burger. It's like Sherman Moore's not even going to be suspended. We couldn't find anything. Here's Friday, 5 o'clock. Right into the weekend you go. Everybody forget about it.
I'm just trying to think of, like, what is the worst case scenario here for the Wolverines? Like, what truly is the worst punishment they could give out here? They wouldn't give a bowl ban, would they?
I don't think so.
If this is the final punishment of, like, everything, this is the end-all, be-all.
I think it's scholarships.
There is a world where it could be really bad then, right? If this is the final say of everything.
But Michigan still has a chance to dispute it and, like, basically say no, which will make it take way longer. And if as long as it's not egregious, I think Michigan should just want it to be in the past.
Right.
I think the worst thing that's going to happen is, and I could be wrong, I don't have any insight on this, I think it's going to be scholarship bans. It's the worst thing. There's no way they're banning them from bowl games.
Yeah,
this is a completely new crew, and it's years later.
A lot of Michigan pages are pretty confident that there's not going to be a major punishment given out.
Oh, yeah, because and this isn't a knock on you for bringing it up, but the Michigan pages, like, they're the most biased pages.
Super trustworthy.
Yeah,
right.
not very trustworthy and the most biased pages of any college pages.
I just love how people are, like, giving their predictions, like they're almost, like, planting a flag on what's going to happen. What's the point of doing that? You're just
it's also the
gonna...
NCAA. It's unpredictable
exactly.
what rules they're going to make
If
up.
you're wrong, you look like a complete idiot. And if you're right, like...
Cool.
Fine. Yeah, okay. Yeah, exactly.
Told you. Got to say that. That's
interesting stuff. I'm interested to see what happens because, like I said, if this is truly the end of the Connor Stallions sign-stealing saga at Michigan, then there's a chance that this is kind of a big deal. And this is kind of pushed in a big penalty. Or there's a chance that, like you and I have discussed, and maybe is likely, that it is just a 2-game suspension, and then finally it's over with, or it still gets talked about for years to come. There's a lot of different ways that this could go. I'm excited to see. Hopefully this is more of a big deal tomorrow as far as the announcement of it and everything.
Well, if they're already announcing a Friday news dump, I'm going to guess it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's the timing of these things. Right? If this thing came out on a Monday, it'd be a huge deal. If it comes out on a Friday and they wait until 4:30 to do it, no one's going to be talking about it.
Can we do it at like 8 a.m. though? You know, so we can like talk about it on the show?
That'd be nice.
That'd be really nice, you know? Help us out a little bit here, NCAA.
It's just a matter of do they want the people to talk about it or do they not? And it sounded like ESPN was the team that had this going, so we'll see what they end up doing with this. 989-837-6125. You consider yourself a ball knower?
Yeah, I would say I know ball.
I consider myself a ball knower. It's time to put our ball knowledge to the test. When we come back, it's the Thursday Athletic Quiz right here on the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mid. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube already, come on, what are you doing? Road to 400 starts now. Appreciate everyone watching on YouTube. Appreciate everyone watching on Facebook, listening on 100.9 The Mid. Be right back.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mid.
Suit up, Sea Captain. At Dive and Glide in Midland, we've got all the gear you need to make a splash. Flippers that fit like a glove, masks that show you the underwater magic, and tanks ready to fuel your next adventure. Whether you're snorkeling the local lakes or dreaming of ocean depths, Dive and Glide has your back and your fins. Find us on Cambridge Street or swim over to diveandglideinc.com. Dive and Glide.
Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
(989-837-6125). On 100.9 The Mitt, we're live right here. Kyle, I think it's time for us to take a athletic quiz.
The Mitt's Morning Catch.
You all good, man? You're like having like a stroke there.
Well, okay. Someone said in the chat, listening in a car on the radio and chatting in the live chat is a whole new dedication for me. And I read it fast and thought that they could hear us chatting during the break, and I started panicking. I was like, what were we talking about? Oh my God.
No,
we're good.
We weren't. All right, let's take this athletic quiz. For some reason, this is our version of the Mid Morning Catch, by the way. Second time around. The Athletic puts out a This Week in Sports trivia quiz every week, except last week they were like, we're not going to do it this week.
They were like, screw y'all.
Yeah, they were like, screw y'all. But today, we're going to screw them because we're going to go 10 for 10 on this quiz. We never have gone 10 for 10 on this. If you're a longtime listener to the Ben Bosscher Show, we started this all the way back when we were live at the Dow Championship, I believe. We usually get like the first 6 or 7,
yeah.
right? And then they get some really weird sports that we've never watched in there. So, yeah. You ready to go?
Yeah, I was going to pull it up and play alongside you, but I can't find it, so...
Oh, okay.
You got us.
I got it. Don't worry.
You got us.
All right, here we go. Ooh, we're starting off hot.
Oh, God.
On New Heights, what did Taylor Swift say her boyfriend Travis Kelce was doing when she told him she had bought back her master recordings? What? Why can't you just say who was on the New Heights podcast?
Is this a multiple choice?
So what was Travis Kelce doing? Yeah, they're all multiple choice. We've done this multiple times.
I have no idea because every time one of these clips of this podcast with Taylor Swift has popped up onto my feed, I purposely scroll past it because I'm like, I don't want any Taylor Swift content in my feed.
I will say,
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Not a Taylor Swift guy either. I actually did know about this whole deal with her getting back her master recordings, though, because it was a big lawsuit thing. So
I remember that. It's not like I'm living under a rock. I don't know what he was doing.
Okay, well, let's go through the options here. What's the most Travis Kelce thing out of these options? A, making sourdough. B, working out. C, drinking beer. D, playing video games.
I don't think he was drinking beer.
You don't think he'd say that?
No.
Working out or
honestly,
playing video games?
I honestly think it's making sourdough. That's so specific.
You're right. You're right.
And I feel like in this new era of Travis Kelce,
that's something he would do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was making sourdough when she told me that.
Making sourdough
I don't know what
for
I was
us.
doing. I was just. Yeah, let's go with that.
The code switching.
No, I was
Travis.
playing video games. 0 for 1. We won't go perfect today. Bad start. Let's get some better things in here.
Because Taylor Swift content is not a sport.
Okay, here we go.
It's not a sport question.
The Cleveland Browns have 4 QBs competing for the starting spot. Who appears to be the leader based on the team's latest depth chart?
You keep yelling me it's Joe Flacco, so let's go there.
I think it's Joe Flacco, right?
Okay, Joe Flacco.
Yes, it is Joe Flacco.
Okay.
Phew. All right, 1 for 2. Who has ESPN elevated to the role of permanent sideline reporter alongside Lisa Salters for its #1 NFL broadcast team? Ooh, I didn't really see this. But the options make me think I know who it is.
I don't think it's Peter Schrager. He's a Thursday Night Football guy.
Oh, he is? Well, he's with ESPN now.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He was NFL Network, did some stuff with Amazon for the Thursday night, like you said. The options are Peter Schrager, Laura Rutledge, Katie George, and Melissa Stark. Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Laura Rutledge already the person behind Lisa Salters?
I don't know, but I
She would
love
always
Peter
do the
Schrager.
second. I'm cool with guessing Peter Schrager since he's new to ESPN. It would kind of make sense.
I don't think it is, though. I think it's one of the girls.
I think Laura Rutledge already was in that spot. She's the one that's on NFL Live every day, and then she would always do the second Monday night game with Orlovsky and them.
Let's go with Laura then.
Okay. It is Laura Rutledge. Okay, boom, there we
Good
go.
job.
I didn't realize that she'd been elevated to that spot.
I hope Schrager's still doing the Thursday night stuff. I don't know if that's
I
out
don't
of his
think he can.
contract.
There's
but
no way he can.
He's great at getting actual hits from the coaches.
He's just great in general. He's really good. I like Laura Rutledge a lot, though, too. Fill in the blank. Jen Paywall made MLB history over the weekend by becoming the first blank in Major League history.
It's got to be player, right? It's got to be player, right?
Yeah, it's got to be pitcher, right? No, umpire. Duh.
Umpire.
We saw that. Okay, there we go. Pete Alonso became the Mets' all-time leader in home runs when he hit number 253 on Tuesday. Who held the record before Alonso? Ben, this is how much do you pay attention to the news? Because I said this yesterday.
Strawberry,
the year
right?
Before. Yes, it's Darryl Strawberry. You're indeed correct. All right,
I pay
we're on a
attention.
run
I
here.
listen to everything you say.
Thanks, man. Who made WNBA history Sunday by recording the league's first 30-point, 20-rebound game? I know the answer to this because I put it in the news and then just forgot to say it on Monday. But I want to see if you know the answer.
I don't think Angel Reese can score 30 points.
Wow, dissing Angel Reese.
Asia Wilson's the most likely to score 30, but I don't know if she's like a 20-rebound person. So,
the other two options, you want me to tell you? Because those are two of them.
I have it pulled up now. Alyssa
Oh, okay.
Thomas and Brenna Stewart. Let's go with Brianna Stewart. Let's go with Brianna Stewart.
Yeah, it's not Brianna Stewart. It's Asia Wilson.
Oh,
so
man.
I'll select it for us. So we still did get it right. But yeah, because I do remember seeing this. 32 and 20 against the Sun. All right, I think we got 3 more questions here. Who was ranked number 1 in the AP preseason college football top 25 poll?
Texas.
Texas, and they're also the first team to be ranked number 1 and be underdogs in week 1, man. Texas, Ohio State to open up the year.
Texas, Ohio State at noon. And then at 7 o'clock, LSU, Clemson, the two favorites to win the Heisman, and Garrett Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik. Week 1, just
good stuff,
perfect.
man. Good stuff. Who's your prediction for that game? Texas, Ohio State, early prediction.
I don't want to make a prediction before I have an actual prediction.
Okay.
If I gave you a prediction right now, I'd just blindly be saying something.
That's mainly all I wanted from you, but it's okay. Who rallied to win the St. Jude Championship on Sunday, passing Tommy Fleetwood in the process? Once again, this was in the news on Monday, Ben. Big stuff here. 2 of these guys went to a playoff against each other, so you might get them mixed up.
Spawn and Rose
Tommy
went into the playoffs.
Yes, Fleetwood just choking again, man. Really tough.
Rose won it. It's Justin Rose.
Yep, Rose did win it. It was his first PGA win of 2025. But J.J. Spawn did clinch a spot in the Ryder Cup with that runner-up finish. All right, I think we have 2 more questions now, actually. Who won the U.S. Women's Gymnastics Championship in New Orleans on Sunday?
Come
you
on,
see,
man.
This is where we fall apart. At the end, they always throw in some stuff that I'm just unfortunately not paying attention to. The lone person I know out of this group is Jordan Chiles. I remember her from the Olympics. But I feel like she's just thrown in here because she's the popular name, you know? But do we just guess her because I know who she is?
Yeah, let's do that.
The other options, by the way, Leanne Wong, Hesley Rivera, and Jocelyn Roberson.
Yeah, it was not Jordan Chiles.
Hesley Rivera. Okay, final one. What sport is moving away from its pay-per-view model as a part of a huge media rights deal with Paramount/CBS? I was hoping this would be in here. That's obviously the UFC.
Yep.
Boom.
WWE going to ESPN, UFC leaving ESPN and going to Paramount.
8 out of 10. Not bad. One of our better scores, I would say. But once we get into football season, we'll nail a 10 out of 10 at some point.
I don't know, because it seems like they're always going to throw some ridiculous sport at.
Yeah,
not that gymnastics is ridiculous, but I'm just not tapped into it. But they've done like polo and like Russian women's fencing. Like, how am I supposed to know this, man?
And why was the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift thing the first question?
so annoying.
Brutal. But like once we get into like October, November, I mean, every question's going to be about football and basketball, you know? Right? There's just so much of it going on.
I don't know.
But maybe there's too much going on that I'm
going
to miss some of it, so I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think it's supposed to be easy. You know,
No.
I think they try to get on a little bit of everything, and that's why they do the gymnastics thing at the end or horse riding or whatever it is. All right, 989-837-6125. We've got 2 traditions to close out every show. The first of those being the lock of the day. The second of those being guessing Colin Cowherd's Open. We are going to get to both of those when we come back. It's the Ben Bosscher Show right here on 100.9 The Mitt.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
This message presented by the NIAAA, the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
The Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair on 100.9 The Mitt.
All right, 989-837-6125. Welcome back in. We have two traditions, how we like to close out every Ben Bosscher show. The first of those being our Lock of the Day.
Lock of the Day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right. We have won 2 in a row, Kyle.
Whoa.
We've won 2 in a row.
Breaking news. Lock of the Day back, question mark? Some are asking.
2 in a row for the first time since...
You hit 2 in a row 2 weeks ago at the beginning of the week. You actually hit 3 in a row, and then you would follow it up with 6 straight losses.
Not this time. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep it
Today's a big
hot.
day, man. Today's a big day for you because you're up 0.92 units on the week, so a win today would guarantee a win for the week. You're down 17.18 units all time. And you're 2-1 this week, 15-34-1 overall record.
Okay. Yesterday we hit with what did we hit with yesterday? Brewers.
Sorry, yeah.
Brewers.
Yeah, and I faded because I just thought maybe it was too late to hop on the win streak. No, they won big, 12-5 they won.
Yeah,
so.
I don't want to do the Brewers thing ever again. They're hot right now.
It's kind of scary.
We cashed in on it, not going back to the well. There's a righty on the mound for the Twins today. And a specific Tiger is 6 for 15 against him in his career. And that specific Tiger has been in a little bit of a cold spell, but seems to be rounding a corner as of the last week. And that Tiger is Riley Green. 2 total bases, minus 110. Is it minus 110 or minus 105?
Minus 110, yep.
Minus 110, 2 total bases. We need a double. We need a home run or a triple, something, 2 singles. 2 total bases. I haven't had a ton of success with these, but Riley Green's had a lot of success against this guy in his career with the righty on the mound. I wanted to do Colt Keith because it's his birthday, but they're always...
Happy birthday, Colt Keith.
Right. There's always the chance that Colt Keith ends up getting pulled from one of these games. Not pulled, but pinch hit for because they just don't really pinch him, hit him versus the lefties anymore. That's the Ibanez role. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pick someone who's going to get 4 at-bats in this game, and I feel good about Riley Green getting to second base at some point.
Yeah,
today.
and Riley Green's also just been like getting extra base hits over the last several games. You know, ever since that home run he hit against the Angels on Sunday, he's had several doubles as well in that series with the White Sox. So, yeah, I don't mind this bet today. I am going to fade it, though.
Why?
Because,
keep fading. Keep not believing.
I have lost 2 straight fade. I faded the last 2 days, and both times I missed. So.
Hater. He's just a hater. That's fine.
But
like the rest of
I'm
them.
going to fade because, like you said, the history of these 2+ bases bets that you have done have historically just not hit. It hit really early in the year when you did a Torkelson 2+ bases because I think he hit a home run. Since then, I'm counting up them right now. There's 4 in a row. There's 5 in a row. 6 in a row. So 6 straight 2+ base bets you've hit have not hit. You're 6 for 7.
What?
You're missing every time.
I'm what?
Yeah, 1 for 7, you could say, in a hit rate there.
So it feels like I'm due then.
Or it feels like you should stop betting that and do something else.
We just need him to hit a double or a home run. Just home run tonight, Riley Green. Just get it over with. First at bat, right over to left field.
Hope so. Bailey Ober, pretty bad against the Tigers. So
pretty bad against the Tigers.
I honestly like Tigers' alt run line today. That's what I would have went with. Tigers minus 2.5, win by 3. You know,
I don't love that for baseball.
That's kind of what I'm digging today. Or maybe like a Tarek Skubal revenge day. Like had a kind of a sloppier outing last time. He bounces back with 10 Ks tonight.
The thing that's scary about that though is to get plus odds for him to get for strikeouts is 9.
Yeah, so
that's
go with
a lot
10.
Of Ks.
Go with double digits, you know?
It could happen.
Tarek Skubal gets a lot of Ks. Like, I know the number's high for sure, but, like...
He gets 10 a lot.
He gets there a lot, you know? It's not that high for him.
Riley Green home runs a lot. So
Sure,
we're going with Riley
sure.
Green 2 total bases for our lock of the day.
Lock of the day.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
All right, the other thing we do is predict the one and only Colin Cowherd's Open, who takes over the airwaves at noon here on 100.9 The Mitt. Neither of us scored yesterday.
No, because Shedeur Sanders was the lead yesterday
Yes,
for
Brown's
for
backup
why?
quarterback.
You know, why was that the lead for the second time this week? I don't know. Kind of random.
Do you
but
think?
yes.
Do you think we'll be in like week 4 and he'll still be leading with Shedeur Sanders as the
Remember
backup
Shedeur,
quarterback?
that game he played in preseason? Like, when they're going to play him?
That'd be so awesome.
It would be.
No, I don't think I'm going to go with Shedeur. Wait, I don't even know whose turn it is to go first. What's the score?
Today
What's the score?
is my turn to go first because today's episode 52. You lead 12-7. Still a large lead on me. I don't really know what I'm going to pick first. I'm not going to lie. A couple different options here. I think this Rashee Rice stuff coming out gives him an excuse to talk about the Chiefs potentially. Rashee Rice court hearing won't happen until after week 4, so he will be able to play the first 4 weeks no matter what, and then maybe something else will come after that. That kind of gives maybe some venue there. I still think the Cowboys, though, is like the move. With this documentary going on, more Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones headlines yesterday. I feel like it just gives him an excuse to talk about Jerry Jones and the Cowboys. Shedeur did come out that he wasn't going to play. He wouldn't go back-to-back Sanders, though, right? Yeah, I think I'm going to go with – I mean, and maybe there's some Dodger stuff at some point. He did randomly lead with the Dodgers at one point. They've been slumping. I don't think he would do it, though. I'm going to go with Cowboys again. I know it's boring because I keep doing it, but he has every excuse to talk about them right now with the documentary going on and with the Micah Parsons situation still lingering. So I'm going to go with Cowboys stuff.
It's a good pick. It kind of feels like he's purposely avoiding it for some reason that I can't seem to figure out.
He still talks about it. He just doesn't lead with it, you know?
I think the Micah Parsons stuff is real. The Jerry Jones stuff is real. I probably would have taken that. It just seems like a safe bet, even though he's probably going to come on and just bash Caleb again.
Yeah, I mean that's been a pretty go-to of his as well.
I'm going to go off the board here, though. I'm going with Jim Harbaugh and Michigan and the sign stealing thing, college football. Maybe even works in Ohio State, Texas. Lead? No, because I think I don't know if this happens at 4:00. I don't know if he's going to have a chance to talk about it at all tomorrow.
True.
I think it's. I mean, I don't feel confident about it, but it's not like there's not a ton of other stuff to guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a good excuse for him to talk about. I think he would talk about that if it was like it did come out, you know.
Yeah, so I'll go with Michigan scandal, NCAA big, and then he's going to turn it into a big picture college football thing where the NCAA is losing power with SEC and Big Ten being the big networks, and having more power than the NCAA. That would be my guess as for what Colin is going to open with.
I don't mind it. If he does lead with the Rashee Rice Chiefs stuff, I'm going to be kind of upset. I'm not going to lie.
I would be too.
Because I think you picked Chiefs yesterday, and I just kind of wanted to pick it today. Because once again, still no Chiefs lead / Mahomes lead in the 52 episodes of the Ben Bosscher show so far.
Well, he's only done about 26 of his shows.
Maybe if that. You know, that's kind of a high guess there too. So
he's probably done 26.
Yeah, he might have done 26, maybe 27 of them by now.
That's probably good. All right, I did see a report that real quick I wanted to touch on before we sent it away. We got another joint practice. First team kick returners. Grant Stewart, which is insane to me. And Sione Vaki back in the spot, which he's been out with the hamstring injury for a long time, but he's been one of these like gadgetry guys. Did I say that right? Gadget guys.
Gadgetry?
He's been one of these gadget guys that the Brad Holmes has drafted that everyone has wanted to see a little bit more of in preseason, but he's been banged up with the hamstring. Well, turns out he's more than likely in line to be a first-team kick returner this season for the Lions. Well, that's one practice, so don't put words in my mouth. But that's one practice today. It's him and Grant Stewart. I also don't like the idea of Grant Stewart doing this. I really don't.
Speaking of Grant Stewart, I saw someone, like a Lions fan page, posted a basically highlight reel from that Cowboys game 2 years ago.
Of just special teams?
Well, no, but Grant Stewart was out there playing for the Cowboys. He was playing defense for him. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Was it good?
No, well, it was just it wasn't his highlight reel. It was just the highlights of the game with the Taylor Decker touchdown. Like, it was that game. It was just like, remember this game kind of highlight reel.
What does Grant Stewart have to do with it?
Because he was on the Cowboys playing defense.
Oh.
It just like popped in my head. I was like, oh, there's Grant Stewart. You know, like I kind of forgot. Sorry I brought it up, man. My bad.
Yeah, I don't like talking about that game. Okay,
man. No, I'm not letting you do this because you bring up the 49ers game and the Commanders game more than anyone.
Yeah, that's fair.
Those games are much worse to rewatch than the Cowboys.
I don't know. I
yes,
think I was,
they are.
I was
Come
more,
on.
Yeah. Okay.
Playoff
Okay.
games.
They're sadder, but I was more angry.
True.
For that Cowboys
True.
game, to the point
That's a
where I
good
had
point.
to walk around at like 3 a.m. around my neighborhood, just like trying to cool off in the freezing cold.
I'll give you a quick story what happened at that game for me. We did our friends' Christmas exchange after that game, where we like did it.
I would have went home.
We had like 10 guys. We all got a gift for one person, but it was a surprise, and we were like gonna watch it. We were gonna do it after the game, so we all got together to watch the game, and that happens, dude. It took us a good hour, maybe hour and a half post game for us to do it because of how upset everyone was.
I would have drove home.
I mean,
I legit would have left. I don't think I would have been able to be there
the
anymore.
switch up from that was just, it was really, like, there was some good gifts, which made it funny and kind of get over it a little bit quicker, but that was rough.
That had to have been the day that I tweeted more than any other day in my life. I was so angry that day. I genuinely, I'm not a
terrible.
Detroit versus everybody guy. I'm not a refs are out to get the Lions guy. That day I was. That day I genuinely thought that the Lions were cursed and everyone was out to get the Detroit Lions at all times. And, I don't even like talking about it. All right, that's no longer the case, though. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. You know the deal. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Watch the show on YouTube. If you're not in your car, it's the Ben Bosscher Show on 100.9 The Mitt.